Welcome, everyone, to episode 48 of the Looks Like a Movie podcast. My name is Kevin. I'm here with Doug and Owen, and today we're talking about our most anticipated movies of 2024. But of course, we can start with what we watched this past week. Owen, do you want to go first this week?
Yeah, sure. Last night I watched Peggy Sue Got Married, which is Francis Ford Coppola's movie with you got Nick Cage in there. Very small role with Jim Carrey. It's kind of like a time travel movie. Very bizarre. It came out like a year or two right after Back to the Future, so kind of riding those tales of like time travel, high school. Very fun movie. I also rewatched all of the Matrix movies. And I watched the first two Godfathers. I then also rewatched John Dielman, and I think that's it. Oh, I rewatched Poor Things in theaters again, but that's been my year so far.
Who plays the titular Peggy Sue?
The titular Peggy Sue, you ask, is she's really great. Kathleen Turner, who
Okay.
has been around for a while.
Is she the one who's in Serial Mom?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. That's a cool cast.
So she's really good. But it's really good movie. I recommend checking that out. Barry Miller is like really in it as well. He's in some other stuff as well. But good Coppola. Definitely one of his better movies. In a lot of in a filmography of really great movies. It's definitely one that you like should check out. But like there's so many of them to check out, so it's like hard to say.
But
We'll
that's a good.
We'll do
that's
an
a good
episode on that.
call-out. We'll do an episode on it
for sure.
For sure.
Right.
Down the line,
as we do for all of his movies.
Yeah, that's one of those where it's like that's episode worthy for sure.
Yeah. I also didn't have the biggest week, I guess. On New Year's I watched both Phantom Thread and The Social Network. The Social Network I wanted to like cap the year off because I realized this past year I didn't really like rewatch a lot of my favorite movies. Like I was watching so much new stuff that I was like, sometimes you just gotta like I gotta remind myself what my favorite movies are. And I was like, The Social Network kind of like fits the New Year's vibe. Yeah, it's still one of my favorites. I watched Beau Travail for the first time, which I got a Criterion for, and watched that as my first movie of 2024. Really good. Probably will rewatch it sometime, maybe even this year again. I don't know. I really liked it. I watched Collateral as I continue my little Michael Mann binge. I will be getting through all of those, hopefully sooner rather than later. I saw Night Swim in theaters, which, as we were just discussing before recording, we had planned on doing a Night Swim episode. It's looking like that will not be the case anymore. So I apologize to all the Night Swim truthers who might have seen it this past weekend and really want to listen to us talk about it. That probably won't happen. But if you want a quick summary, it is a PG-13 horror movie. It's not very scary. It is possibly fun if you go into the movie with like a group of friends and you're just going to make fun of it. I can see the potential for a good time, but even for me as somebody who was trying to enjoy it as a like, once I realized the movie was bad, I was like, okay, can this be like so bad it's good? Like, can I have fun with this? And even then I was still pretty bored. It's like weirdly the whole first hour of the movie is kind of about baseball, and it's not really a horror movie, which is not in the trailer at all. Like it's the haunted swimming pool movie, but it's actually about baseball because the main dad, played by Wyatt Russell, is like a former MLB player.
I forgot Wyatt Russell was in that movie.
Yeah, and Carrie Condon's in it, fresh off her Oscar nomination, by the way. Like literally first movie she's done after being nominated for an Oscar. Crazy.
That's what happens when you give the Oscar to
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Curtis.
That's a whole different podcast topic. Yeah. Night Swim, not all that great. And then I watched Good Grief yesterday. Which
Charlie Brown.
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown.
I wonder if that's it's not a reference. It's like what is his name? Dan Levy. It's his directorial debut. No, not Sean Levy. Dan Levy. His directorial debut. He also stars in it. It's also pretty forgettable early release.
Is it a 2024 release?
Yeah, it just came out on streaming like 2 days ago.
Night Swim. Tell the people. Is it better than Night Swim?
Yeah, for me, yeah, but it's a very low bar. Okay. Those two are really, as the year goes on, they will both find themselves toward the bottom of the list.
Yes, sir. Shout out Dan Levy.
Yeah, what can you do? Anyway,
Another
Doug, what did
podcast.
you watch this week, Doug, before we get started? Doug, you are not speaking right now.
Doug.
Doug muted himself without knowing. We're leaving that in the
I
podcast.
forgot I muted myself. I watched Ludwig Requiem for a Virgin King, which is okay, let me explain for a second. Which is a Hans-Jürgen Seiberberg film. Names. Who's like a German filmmaker. I watched it because and I want to watch his 3 most popular films, which are he made this autobiography of Ludwig II. He made an adaptation of Mahler's Parsifal, and then he made a biography of Hitler. And they're all 3 like these live cinema, as Francis Ford Coppola would say, at films that all take place on a soundstage, completely on a soundstage, and where all the sets are just rear screen projected is what it's called. It's interesting. They look kind of cool. It's hard to find his films in good quality. Yeah, I watched that. And then I took a couple days off, and I watched Public Enemies with Owen.
I have to watch. That's gonna be a part of my Michael Mann binge as well.
Yeah, we watched Public Enemies. I did not hate that movie. I liked that movie just because I gave it 3.5 stars and you gave it 4 stars, dude. Like what?
It's a big gap. Doug hated that movie.
No,
it's Michael Mann.
Might be worse Michael Mann. I mean that's a bad. It's my least favorite Michael Mann I've seen. I don't know if that means it's the worst Michael Mann.
How many are you up to now?
I've seen 8 of his films.
Okay.
I haven't seen a couple big ones like The Insider or Manhunter, but
I do want to watch both of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my least favorite I've seen, but it's good. It's like I don't know. Okay, my biggest thing with Public Enemies, and I was telling this to Devin after we watched it, was that
another Devin shout out on the podcast.
We gotta stop. Future guest Devin. All of the casting, like every single casting decision in Public Enemies is so bizarre. It was hard for me to click into the film.
I love the
like it's a collection of like a lot of guys that we like, but or that I like at least, but then it's like they're all the weird roles and there's so many of them. I'm like, what the fuck? Like all from top.
I love how like Channing Tatum's in the movie for like 1 minute. I just think
literally
any movie's better when Channing Tatum's in it, which is something we're gonna mention.
He shows up, he gets chased, and then Christian Bale just shoots him and kills him, and he's not.
I haven't seen the movie.
It happens in like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Okay. It's literally like just a cameo. It's just literally he's like running in a field.
How does it stack up against his Bullet Train cameo?
I don't even remember his Bullet Train cameo.
His Bullet Train cameo is the only good part of that movie.
Yeah, I mean it's the best. I will say that's what I'm saying. You could put Channing Tatum in a movie and instantly.
But Channing Tatum in Public Enemies is really good though.
For
the 30 seconds.
He does a good dying chasing thing.
And then I watched First Cow last night, which might be the best movie of this decade if we're counting it as a 2020s release.
But no 5-star.
Well, I need to rewatch it. That's the thing. Kevin Nikos. So I'm not a reactionary.
I don't really like when you use my government name on the podcast.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I mean, it's okay. Like it's out there for everybody. You know, it's not like a hidden thing. It's just I feel like that's a big Doug habit is to address me.
I know. I know. I'm sorry. I would do it to Owen, but I don't know how to say his last name, and he's never told me.
Are you discovering this on the podcast after a year of us doing this together?
This is we're gonna keep it that way.
It's a mystery for all the listeners. But I'm very excited to watch First Cow. For those who know about my Kelly Reichardt obsession, I'm saving First Cow for last because that was kind of the biggest movie of her career thus far, which is kind of crazy considering it's a very small movie. But
so it got like pretty good distribution. It did not get nearly as much awards play as it should have. Granted, the 2020 Oscars were fucking right. Would it have been the 2021 Oscars?
It came out in 2019 or 2020?
So festival debut 2019, then American release 2020. So I don't know.
Okay, so it probably would have been the 2021 Oscars, which that would be a little bit more competitive because those 2020 Oscars are the ones that were like oh no, actually I guess it was the 21 Oscars that were the ones impacted the most by COVID because it was the movies from 2020, which was the bad year.
Yeah, where Tenet won Best
so-
Picture.
Yeah.
right.
What it was like
It was
Nomadland, right?
Nomadland. Yeah, it was
Nomadland,
Nomadland
yeah.
that one. Yeah, which is not like the worst
Shout
thing in the
out
world
to the
considering
Just a
Eternal,
bizarre,
but
just like
yeah,
a very bizarre pick, regardless.
right.
Better than I haven't seen Nomadland, but I imagine it's better than what's it called? The Apple movie.
Coda?
Oh, the
yeah,
joke
Coda.
of
Oh, I
yeah.
like Coda more, if we're being honest. But
Okay, I like Coda. It's just Coda. It's such an
no.
insignificant
Well,
film.
I think when you're comparing the two in terms of like this is the the highest award that's given out all year, it's definitely a little bit silly for it to be going to Coda. Like Nomadland is maybe a little, but I enjoy Coda more. Anyway, is there
Okay.
anything else on your list, Doug, or are we ready to get started?
Ready to get started to talk about the
we're
future,
gonna,
like
we're gonna talk
Owen
about
hinted.
45 movies. So just to set it up, we've got a list of 45 movies. Most of these are movies that we're excited for, but we've kind of thrown in a few movies that are just kind of, popular, big discussion topics that maybe we're not as excited for, but we're gonna cover. And we're gonna do this in a little bit of a rapid fire format, not as much as previous rapid fire episodes. We've got 2 minutes for each movie, so we can talk about them without too much pressure. But I have our list of 45 movies shuffled up and ready to go. So Owen and Doug will not know what movie is coming next as we go through all of these.
I know what's coming next.
We're starting with a big one, The Luck of the Shuffle, one of the biggest.
I thought that was the movie. I was like, I don't know that one.
No, so our first movie we're going to start talking about here release is Dune 2.
Oh, fuck.
Major release coming out in March. I am very excited for Dune 2, which I will hint at later in the episode. But yeah, I mean, Dune 2 is my most anticipated movie of last year before it got pushed
Yeah, it
back,
almost seems like about damn time. Like, I'm almost getting tired of this shit, dude. Like, it seems like we should have got this movie 7 months ago.
Yeah, it almost seems like that's what should have happened. Yeah, I agree. Something about the feeling.
I just I'm excited, but it's like I'm just kind of like, come on.
You're past it now?
No, I like it's just like it's so like I just feel like they're gonna keep pushing it back. I don't even want to believe it. It's like
Dune 1 came out so long ago, dude. Like the
it's
first
like
Dune came out so long ago.
No, I'm excited
for
to
like an
revisit the
album
first
release
part,
when you know that bitch is gonna push it back. So I'm not even excited because I know they're gonna. I'm not like it's like not the same.
It's
thing
that is a Kanye exclusive problem, Owen. That is not a thing that happens with other.
Yeah, Dune 2 is just like the next Kanye album to me.
I do think it's coming out in March.
Date. I can't get excited about. No, I know it's gonna come out in March, but they just keep pushing it back. So I just am numb to this at this point.
I'm excited for Dune 2. I like Dune 1 a lot. I think I think we're kind of I think we're quietly in a sci-fi renaissance, even if Rebel Moon was bad.
You did not see that movie, so
I said even if, I didn't say even though. So I'm saying
okay, Doug, all right. Well, you always be hating.
I mean the first
your
Dune,
name is Owen
Dune,
hates movies.
No, it's not.
The first Dune was my favorite, or I guess
your favorite Dune?
Dune and Titan were my two favorite movies of that given year. Like they were the two big ones.
What year?
Like what was it? 2020?
The year 2019, 2021.
The year of our Lord, Dune
yeah,
Titan.
whatever year it was. Dune 2 is gonna rock. We have hit 2 minutes. Let's move on to our next one. Juror number 2, the new Clint Eastwood movie. How do we feel about this?
I've never seen it. Clint Eastwood direct. Wait, I think I maybe.
Yes, you've never seen a movie directed by Clint Eastwood?
You haven't seen American Sniper? That seems like it would be big in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
No Gran Torino, no $1 Million Baby.
Nothing? Oh, I did see Gran Turismo.
Okay, that's not.
Juror number 2. I forgot there's a timer. Juror number 2. I'm excited for this movie because it is a movie directed by a 92-year-old auteur. And the premise seems interesting enough. And I like Toni Collette.
Yeah, I have a feeling that I'm not gonna be in
Does it
love
have a
with
release
this
date?
one. I don't know if we have an exact release date.
I wonder if it'll play
But
at festivals or not. I don't
Yeah,
know
I mean
if Quint does
Eastwood.
that.
yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, his more recent movies, I guess, didn't have
Yeah,
big.
I gotta watch. I gotta catch up on my Eastwood before I'm like have any feelings about anything new.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not like the biggest fan, but maybe I've only seen 4 of his movies, and
Big year for
I think-
Nicholas Hoult. I hope he has a bounce back.
Yeah.
a much needed bounce back. Yeah.
Well, he's also going to be on Superman
much needed
Legacy. Did you
bounce,
guys see
to be
the
honest.
picture that he posted with James Gunn, or that James Gunn posted with him at the
Is he bald?
Superman studio? No.
No.
It's good just because like somebody on I think it was Threads asked James Gunn. He was like, "Has production started for Superman Legacy?"
And then
And he posted a picture with Nicholas Hoult,
bald head.
and he's like, "Yep, we have flights scheduled and blah blah blah." And it's like, all right.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay, we can move on to the next one then. We've got Challengers, the new Luca Guadagnino movie starring Zendaya, Mike Faiston, Josh O'Connor.
Luca
I'm pretty
Guadagnino.
excited for this, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be good.
Where are we
Yeah.
at with Luca Guadagnino?
I don't know where the general public is at, but I have no reason to not be excited for a new movie from it. Like, I like his movies.
I forget
like
the
him.
name of the guy, but it's the same cinematographer that did Call Me by Your Name. I don't think he did Bones and All, so I'm happy that that guy's back.
Right.
Is that the Where's Ethical or like the Uncle Moomy guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's like good. I'm excited for it. Like, I'm not like over the moon about this movie. But I think like when it comes, I'm gonna really like it. It's just not something that I'm like shaking in my boots to see, but I think when it comes, I'm gonna really like it.
I wonder what I wonder how big it's going to be, because like obviously Zendaya's huge. Like, I wonder if this is gonna like
I mean,
bigger
lot
than
of
Bones
people
and
are gonna
All,
see
not
this.
as big as you know what? Probably his biggest movie, to be honest. It'll probably be bigger than Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah, I feel like a
Really?
lot of people might end
Yeah.
up seeing
Call Me
this.
by Your Name is
I
kind of.
mean,
I mean, Call Me by Your Name is kind of like cultish though.
Yeah.
right. I mean, it was also like a Best Picture nominee. It really like was big in like film circles, but I guess it didn't.
I don't know. I don't.
That.
I think Challengers would probably like rival that, but I just
Challengers is based on like a real thing with like famous people, like famous fictional characters, and like
I don't
Zendaya. I don't know.
This is Zendaya's easily like her biggest like leading role though.
Yeah, this is Zendaya's like movie star testing the waters thing for the first time, I think.
Well, I mean, she was. Yeah, I guess she wasn't the lead in the Spider-Man stuff, but obviously those movies are huge.
Yeah, but that's not.
And Marvel's different. Yeah, Marvel's different.
Yeah.
It's like Marvel has like a big safety net. Yeah.
It's like she is in that movie, but like being the second lead in a Marvel movie isn't like.
And
great.
the third lead in some of the movies.
Yeah, like she's not even like she's just his girlfriend for some of it. Like it's like. So this is definitely like her big movie for sure. So this is a lot of like
somebody
next movie. Sorry, Doug. No, I'm kidding. You could go.
Well, I was just gonna say about Luca Guadagnino. I think it might have been. I don't know. I don't need to name drop everybody, but somebody said this like a while ago. I heard that Luca Guadagnino is making like movies for like teenagers and preteens that are kind of like schlocky that just look really good, that are like shot like real movies, and maybe that's like all we need somebody like him to do, you know?
Yeah. Well, I kind of think he's like, I think he's a solid director, but I think his cinematographer and his actors, obviously like he's directing his actors, like obviously he has an involvement in that, but I think like his movies are like his best movies are going to be when his actors are at their best and their cinematographers are the best, not like when he's at his best. So I'm excited more for Challengers because I was just I really like Call Me by Your Name. I was just a little let down by Bones and All because I just don't think it's as good, or like it's solid.
Well, it's a high bar. Call Me by Your Name is such an achievement.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying like that movie's really good, so I just kind of expect him. Once you make something like Call Me by Your Name, I'm just gonna be like expect you to be at that level. And when you're not, it's like, okay, that's kind of a disappointment, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for Challengers.
Our next movie is Borderlands, directed by Eli Roth.
Okay. Have either of you guys played any of the Borderlands games?
I played Borderlands 2.
I also played Borderlands 2.
I've like looked around at like images and like the game, but I haven't played it.
I was when granted I was a wee lad when Borderlands 2 came out, but I was
Right.
a big fan of it when it came
Yeah.
out. And it is a very annoying like 2014 video game style humor kind of thing where there's a guy named Claptrap who's going like, "Wow, you just shot me in the head," and like shit like that, you know, like
Right.
That sounds like
Is
Eli
is
Roth.
Kate Blanchett playing the lead in this movie?
I believe Kate Blanchett is playing the lead.
Because some of the other castings scare me.
The
But
only
it's like,
thing,
but
yeah,
it
that's
makes
what I'm saying.
sense
The
for
only
what
thing
the
I'm worried
movie
about is
is.
fucking Kevin Hart.
Yeah, like Kevin Hart, but like Jack Black makes sense because like there's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
like
Jack
Borderlands is
Black
gonna
wants
have
to
like
be in
comedic
every
stuff.
video
Like,
game movie ever.
yeah.
Also, there was like a bunch of weird behind the
Reshoot stuff.
scenes stuff
Mhm.
for this
That's-
movie where
I'm worried about that as well.
I don't believe Eli Roth directed the whole thing. I think that maybe he stepped back and somebody else stepped up and directed reshoots or something. I don't know all the details. I'd have to look it up, but I think something like that occurred.
Well, I
Right.
forget. Eli Roth kind of talked about like just being like in his like he called it his Ridley Scott era, but it's really just him being like, I'll take that movie, I'll try this. So it's
Yeah.
like Borderlands is just him like being like, sure, I'll try this. I'll try making a video game movie. So
Yeah.
who knows what this comes out? I
It might
like
be fun.
his
It'll probably
last
be a
few
pretty
movies.
big movie. Like,
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, video game movies are really big right now. It's
Yeah.
gonna be big, and I think it's gonna be probably even if it's like not great. I think it's probably gonna be good for Eli Roth's career because it's probably gonna make money. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then on the coattails of Thanksgiving 2, he's probably gonna like he's at his highest like moment right now in his career right now, especially
Yeah.
if Borderlands as well.
Our next movie is a currently untitled movie, but it is the Radio Silence Monster
Okay.
Project. We don't have a title for it. Radio Silence has previously made Scream movies.
Yeah.
How do we feel?
I've seen images. I don't know. I'm 90% sure this is the movie that I've seen some images on, and there seems to be some like interesting like romance between Melissa Barrera and the monster. Maybe I'm mixing up movies, but it seems to be like more than a just straightforward monster movie, which I'm interested in. We don't really have too much news. I think I've only seen the Scream movies from those guys. I haven't seen Ready or Not. I'm not like they're solid.
I think Ready or
movies.
Not's quite funny. If
Okay.
I'm being like, as a movie, you could probably debate if it works. I think it's pretty funny though.
It's hard to really gauge them in something like a studio horror movie like thing where they're like picking up someone else's franchise and like trying to make it their own.
This movie will be an important mark. For their
career,
like,
it definitely
in terms
kind of
how we feel
It's
about them.
interesting that this
sure.
is still untitled because this movie's coming out really soon. Like we should be getting a trailer for this really soon. It's interesting that there's not even a title.
It's a summer release, isn't it?
It's out in April.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So maybe I don't know, but it's kind of interesting timing for everything.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
I think it's
Wait, is Angus Cloud in this movie?
That'd be interesting. Very weird.
Sorry.
He's listed on Letterboxd. I don't.
Yeah.
But if we don't even have a title, then I don't know how much of the
cast.
cast.
We don't know a lot about the movie, but
yeah,
monster movies, bring them back. I mean, we're gonna talk about another monster movie later, but like, really, maybe an interesting year for monster movies if this is halfway solid.
It's been too long, and by monster movies, we're not talking about like kaiju movies. That's a different thing.
Yeah, like Universal kind of like Wolfman, Frankenstein sort of things.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a bad Frankenstein movie that comes out this year, but just in general, it'd be cool to see some good ones.
Our next movie, I'm interested to see where you guys lie on. I imagine it's not too positive, but next up we have Joker 2, fully adieu.
Adieu.
Lady Gaga, I think is a good actress, and so is Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
That, you know what?
Great.
I can't argue with that.
No, I mean, it's literally not even up for debate. Like they're both great.
Yeah, I haven't seen Joker since like what year did it come out?
2019.
Okay, so I probably saw it a couple times that year, and then like I didn't watch it since.
I'll be honest. Every time I rewatch Joker, I thought less of it, and even like not rewatching it, I think less of it. Like
I was gonna say that. I think Joker, for me at least, and I guess you too, Kevin, it ages badly in the memory. It ages really badly.
For a movie that's only been out for 4 years, it is like quickly declining in terms of my like opinion of it.
This is like I'm really interested like how musical it's gonna be.
Right.
Like,
This seems
I
like
really
it might
don't like
be
the like
a blank
umbrellas of
check.
Cherbourg like reference like one
I
shot that
think
we
it's
got with
I
the
think it's
umbrellas. I'm
kind of
like that.
silly. I think it's
I'm
kind of silly.
maybe
Well, the
but I don't.
the casting of Lady Gaga too is so silly.
I
Where I'm like,
just
this,
Yeah.
like,
It might be like, hey, Joker. Who knows? It might be like complete shit, but it
well,
might be
I
like
was thinking,
look bad on Joker, and it's just like Joker 2 is just really like fucking stupid and funny. Like it's like if
Yeah.
Joker's like singing, it's like it might just kind of be fun. Like I don't
well,
know.
that's is this gonna be like Todd Fields doing what's it
Todd
called?
Phillips, please don't
No,
confuse
Phillips.
him with
I'm
Todd
sorry.
Fields.
Totally worst director, Todd Phillips. Sorry. Well, is it like, do you think this might be Todd Phillips doing like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 thing?
Yeah, like
Or
that's what I'm saying. Like it might be like really fun. I who
yeah,
knows? We really don't know much about it, but like him saying like it's a musical, Joker
mhm.
2 is a musical. Like that's stupid. Like that's funny.
There are
Uh,
some leaks too
so
that
who
said
knows?
that the movie is like absurdly violent or something too. So
Interesting.
who
Right.
knows?
I'm
Brendan
interested.
Gleeson's in it. I think he's just playing like one of the guards at Arkham, but he's probably gonna be a pretty major role because it's like Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah.
Which I love him so much, and I think him in just like a musical is funny. I just like a Paddington 2, but like violent,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Uh
Who knows though?
yeah. We hit 2 minutes, but I do want to ask, do you guys think that Joker 2 is going to like dominate the box office the way the first one did? Like, do you guys think this is going to be $1 billion movie?
Well, the
I
first one's kind of like the most like it's a lot of money. I don't think it will dominate as much, but I do think it's gonna make money, like a lot of money for sure.
Yeah.
I think that it is so hard to predict the box office now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's fair,
true.
that's fair.
I just don't see how people don't
I don't think it's gonna.
return. Like
Do you
people
know
love the
do
first
you know the
Joker
box
generally.
office?
Like
Oh, not the
people
box. Do you know the budget for Joker 2?
It's gonna be
I
crazy
don't know.
high.
Right?
It's gonna be
I mean,
ridiculous.
it'll
It's
be
gonna be like
higher,
ridiculous
but
for a
it'll
rated R movie.
yeah, it'll break
Yeah.
that like easily. I mean, like we saw
Well,
in our
yeah.
trivia episode, Joker is the most successful,
Did
like billion
Oppenheimer
or cheapest
pass
billion
it?
dollar movie.
Oh, cheap. Okay, I was talking about R-rated movies. I think the Oppenheimer
Yeah.
passed it for R-rated movies, right?
I
Or
No,
we're still
no, I
gonna-
don't think it did
I
actually.
don't think Oppenheimer's crossed $1 billion yet. Joker
No, I
made
think
$1
it- I think
billion.
it
Oh,
barely-
okay.
yeah.
Well, I know
Joker
people
was like
were like
1.3
hoping
billion
it
or
did,
something.
but I wasn't sure if it did yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, most successful billion rated R movie. So like,
Yeah.
it's kind of a hard thing to
Yeah,
ask.
it's hard to replicate, but I do think it
doubt
would be
it
successful.
does that, but I do think it's gonna make money.
Yeah. Next up, we have currently the most hated movie in the world in terms of just
Argyle?
trailer, Argyle.
Okay, here we go.
Doug is an Argyle truther. Doug is excited. This is Doug's most anticipated movie of the year. So you
Well,
take
I
the
don't
floor.
think-
That's what,
you need to
it's
take it.
bizarre because I keep seeing these lists where it's like top 10 most anticipated movies of next year, and Argyle always seems to make it on these lists. And I just think that people don't know too many movies that are coming out next year.
I think
Because-
we need to remember that film Twitter isn't real life.
No, but like, it's just like this is a trailer that just keeps coming out. Like people like know it exists, and it's like, oh, I don't know 10 movies that are coming out next year.
I think if you sat your mom in front of the Argyle trailer, they would be like, "That looks fun."
No, I
Yeah.
did. That we watched. Me and my family and like some of my extended family were in the theaters, and that shit came on. And the only reason anyone was interested in it because my aunt likes Sam Rockwell, but no one else cared about that. No one else cared about that trailer. Okay, I
do
don't-
we have a
it's
a
really-
prediction on who the real Agent Argyle
Tom
is gonna
Cruise
be?
or Ryan
It's
Reynolds.
Tom Cruise.
They're gonna
Tom
come.
Cruise, yo,
No, but
He's gonna
but
cut
genuinely,
cameo, and he's
can
gonna
I
be the
say
real
something? And I
Argyle.
don't mean to be harsh, but like at this point, I'll have had enough of it. If we get to the end of this Argyle movie and the reveal is that it's Ryan Reynolds, I'm giving it half a star.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
like
I mean-
I don't need
Yeah.
it to happen
When
anymore.
Ryan Reynolds should have been ghosted, it felt like he killed my mom. Like it felt like my
Yeah, I mean, listen, I am
Ryan
very
Reynolds has
excited
killed my
for
mom
Argyle,
plenty of
but
times. That shit
it's
is-
part of the
I've had
new-
enough.
You guys saw the tweet. It's Argyle's like part of the new bullet train genre of movies.
Yeah.
The bu-
Kind of my worst.
There's another
favorite
movie
genre.
in that genre that's coming up on the list later.
My
Yeah.
thing with Argyle is the trailer opens up with Henry Cavill and Dua Lipa dancing, and I'm like,
Yeah. No, I like the
Listen.
first like 20 seconds of the trailer, and then the rest of it happens.
I don't like any of it.
But next up, we have a movie that I know Doug is very excited for: Memoir of a Snail from Adam
Oh,
Elliott.
yeah.
yeah. So here's the thing. I know that we almost didn't put this on the list, but I felt very
Yeah,
passionate
Doug
about
very
this
much needed this on the list.
because nobody is talking about this movie. I feel like most people don't even know that Memoir of a Snail is coming out, or let me rephrase that a new Adam Elliott feature film is coming out. Adam Elliott has only made one feature film, and it is Mary and Max that came out 15 years ago. And now he has another one coming out, a feature Adam Elliott film. This is a big deal. This is huge. This is like also it's so hard to get new stop motion like good stop motion films like
It will take a
what's his
lot
name?
of fucking time and effort.
Yeah, it takes so
so-
much time, dude. And like Henry Selick, we might not get another Henry Selick movie before he dies. It's like this is like, you know, there aren't that many guys that like we know have made
Yeah.
like amazing stop motion films before. So this is a big deal for me, I guess. And
Yeah.
Memoir of a Snail.
I'm interested. I'll probably
very
watch
excited.
Mary and Max before that comes out. I don't know. Do we have a release date for Memoir of a Snail?
No. I
Not
don't
too
even know
much
if it's
information.
yeah.
We just found it on we were scrolling
right,
Letterboxd
yeah.
and Doug found it. So that's like kind of all the information we really know about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
Um,
excited. I'll check
No,
it out.
I mean, listen, Doug's excitement gets me excited. I need to watch Mary and Max for sure.
You will love Mary and Max,
I'm
Kevin,
sure. Yeah,
sure.
I've heard that it's definitely a me kind of movie. Next up, we have a big blockbuster, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We're going back to the Planet of the Apes world. I'm
Well,
not as
what?
excited because
Here-
Matt Reeves is not directing it.
Here's
and
my
then we
thing.
have
Who's the guy? Wes Ball.
yeah, he's done
Yeah,
the
Wes
Maze
Ball.
Runner movies,
Ball
which
and-
are
I'm gonna
not.
see this movie, and the only reason I'm gonna see this movie is it's a Wes Ball test. So I'm gonna do a little ball test here, and because this guy is directing the Zelda movie. So
Oh,
right,
true.
that's true.
I need to
that's true.
I need to see if Wes Ball knows ball, and then I'll be more excited or less excited for the Zelda movie, barring casting. But like this is important just for like that to me, because I'm more interested in that Zelda movie than this. But I'm gonna see it just because I'm interested in like
Right.
is this director half
Yeah.
decent?
This is
But
a
I
little,
like-
this
I
a
get
little sauce
excited
test for the ball
about-
man.
Yeah, a little ball
Yeah.
sauce test.
I think
but
I think it
I
could
mean,
be good. I get
I-
excited about like this world. Like at the end of that trailer when he like the ape gets up on the thing and like the whole crowd is there. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
cool.
I
Like,
don't
It
know,
looks
because-
like The Last of Us, or like
Well, it's a lot of like I know he's talked about before, like he's really into like these like kind of James Cameron Avatar kind of like CGI worlds. Like that's what like
that's really cool.
so
we need
like
more
I
directors
think
like
that's
that.
interesting. Like I think like yeah, like I haven't seen it like I've seen I saw the Maze Runner like when it came out or like when I was really
Yeah.
young. Like
I
I
read
have
the
not, like
books.
Not the greatest.
I have
movies.
no yeah, but it's also like that was a long time ago. So who knows?
Right.
Who knows? And that's also like it seems like he's interested in different things. Who knows if he's like a total piece of shit, but like or just
Yeah.
garbage director, but like I think
Yeah,
that's
two very different things. Being like that guy's a piece of shit. but he's such a
I
turd.
kind of meant them at like the same thing. But
Yeah.
we I don't know. We don't really know yet. But I think what he's
Planet of
interested
the
in, like in
Apes.
terms of these CGI stuff, is something interesting.
Planet of the Apes is a really interesting franchise because like there's kind of like infinite potential for like infinite
Yeah.
movies in it. Like, have you guys seen the original one or any of the old
No,
ones?
I've never.
old
Well,
ones.
I used to have. I used to watch. I don't know which ones I've seen, but as a kid, I had like DVDs of them, so I would
Mhm.
watch like ones at home. But I didn't know what I was watching
Yeah,
at the time.
I don't know which ones I've
but
seen.
I
'cause
have seen
just-
the newer ones.
I just remember seeing a lot of different ape movies growing up, but I
Yeah.
know I've seen a few with James Franco in them. I don't know which ones I've seen though. Like I just remember them being on when I was younger, but I haven't seen them in like forever.
It's
The original one came out the same year as 2001: A Space Odyssey.
yeah.
And it
Crazy year
is
for ape.
yeah, well, and yeah, exactly. And it's like it's kind of a triumph. It's like it's like really amazing. And
Yeah.
like yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's cool that it's cool that this is one of the biggest franchises. Like that a franchise
Yeah.
about like apes that like you know
Hey,
what I mean?
I'm
Like,
pro
like, this is a-
ball. I hope it rocks.
Yeah, I hope it's good. Anyway, our next movie is one that I'm fairly excited for. I don't know about you guys. Project Artemis, which is apparently going to get the name changed. This is not going to be the name that it ends up with, but it is
Codename
a
Project
space-
Artemis.
it's a space rom-com with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum.
Not
Directed by the
not
guy
gonna,
who made Love, Simon.
yeah,
a
not
movie
gonna
that I
take
love.
place in space.
No, not going to take place. It's the backdrop of the movie is the like Apollo 11 moon launch.
Oh,
So
yeah.
That's
So I don't think
lamer.
it's in space, but that's like the backdrop of the movie. I like we said at the beginning of the episode. I mean, I think Channing Tatum is literally like the most just like charismatic dude, and not like I love him. Like I will
Mhm.
watch Channing Tatum in anything, no matter what he does. Like that shit gets me excited. And obviously Scarlett Johansson is one of the best actors on the planet. I
Ray
you know
Romero is in this movie.
I
Romano.
I think this is
Oh,
a
let's go.
major. I think this movie could go one of two ways, right? Because this director, Greg Berlanti, like for me, I love
Oh,
Simon. The average person does not love Simon as much as I do. So like, who knows whether this guy can make another good rom com?
Well,
But also
who
like,
I'm trying to look it up. Who wrote Project Artemis? It's like this lady, but I can't tell it.
the writer is Rose Gilroy, who I think this is her first feature film.
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
Yeah, but like, and it's hard to judge because it's like you could just say on paper, like Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson, like great leads for a rom com, like that should be
but we
fun.
watched
He was
Ghosted.
also, but he was just also in The Lost City with Sandra Bullock, like last year or whatever, and like that movie's fine. It's not very good though. Like he's still
Wait,
charming in it, but like you can't just put your faith in that.
Woody
So,
Harrelson and Jim Ross are in this movie.
Who's Jim
indeed,
Rash?
yeah,
He
they
plays
are
he plays the principal in Community.
right.
Sorry.
Um,
Okay. Whatever. Whatever.
sorry, you've just gone on a different. No, but like we've hit our 2 minutes, but I'm quite excited for it. I don't know if it's what everybody should be excited for, but a
um,
Channing Tatum rom com on paper is like my
I
kind of
love
movie.
Scarlett Johansson. I will be
Uh,
there.
yeah, of course, no matter what. Next up we have "Oh Canada" from Paul Schrader,
Now we're
starring
fucking
Florida
talking.
Richard Gere.
Now
Now
we're
we're
fucking
talking.
Um,
talking.
let's give Owen the
Oh,
floor. I know Owen's excited.
I mean, Lordy's playing the young version of the Richard Gere character. So we're gonna see some like present day or just kind of like the present day in the timeline, and then some flashback stuff with a Lordy. I think this is like who is Lordy worked with now? Coppola, and that's it really. Got Emerald Fennel and like so like this is like the big. This is like one. Obviously he's
He
not the
just
lead,
okay.
but like
Sorry.
Coppola. I mean Coppola, and then Schrader. I think Schrader here is like a really big step for him. I'm really excited for this as like an actor director pairing. Also, just it being the next Paul Schrader movie is awesome. The kind of synopsis of the movie sounds like it's gonna be a very sad movie about Richard Gere's character and just, like looking back on his past and kind of just kind of revealing stuff about his past. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited for this.
I think this is going to be a big deal. I think this is like kind of a lazy like sleeper pick, but I think that if
Yeah.
you were to pick this as your sleeper pick, it would be like a safe gamble. I think this is going to be a pretty big deal.
And if you're a betting man, this
Yeah.
movie's gonna be big.
Because like unlike Master
Lordy is
Gardener, which
huge.
didn't have any big names and is about something a little bit more controversial, I think this movie's gonna get like
People will go watch a Jacob Elordi movie.
well, also like I think that this movie's gonna get like really good distribution. I think like Neon or A24, like somebody like a bigger distributor is gonna like kind of put down some cash to pick it up. Like,
This will definitely find its way on like a top 10 list next year. I don't see
this is gonna get some annoying Letterboxd reviews.
Yeah. This is gonna rock. But hey, we're about to introduce a lot of random people to Paul Schrader.
Well, Paul Schrader directed Taxi Driver. Let's not get crazy here. And he also
Well,
First Reformed is also like a huge movie.
But no, Jacob
Row
Elordi
Taxi Driver.
stands. Jacob Elordi stands do not give a shit about who directed Taxi Driver or not wrote Taxi Driver.
Well, he wrote Taxi Driver.
They don't give a shit who directed it, wrote it, even starred in it. Dude,
Sure.
They care about one thing, and that's a Lordy. All right. So this is time, and this is now. And Oh Canada, here we go.
Okay, our next movie is Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Alvarez.
All right, buddy.
How do we feel?
Cool. I'm excited for it. It's not gonna be a masterpiece. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna be one of the 3 best movies of the year.
Sure,
but
that's like a very high bar.
Top 5 Alien movies.
It's not gonna be a top 5 Alien movie, but I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it's gonna be really fucking. That's my prediction.
Is this the Spaney one or is that the TV show?
Yeah, Spaney's in it.
Yeah, I don't think we have any casting details on the TV show.
Okay,
but
cool. I'm excited because I think Spaney is really great, and Priscilla. I didn't see the Evil Dead remake. I don't think I've seen anything from the director. it's
I've
like it's
only
hard
seen
for
the
me.
Evil Dead remake.
It's hard for me to really root for an Alien movie without Ridley Scott. But
This
I'm
movie
open
does
to
have
it.
Ridley Scott's like explicit blessing. I will say,
Yeah,
he's
but
very.
Yeah. I think Evil
Um,
Dead is good.
I'm
I
trying
mean,
to see his
Don't Breathe
fucking
is good as
directing, not his
well.
blessing. All right, so
Oh, I forgot he did Don't Breathe. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen
Don't
both
Breathe
of
is
those.
good. The second one's terrible, but the first one's like
I don't
quite
know
a
what
good
Don't
horror
Breathe.
movie.
Fede Alvarez is like a
Um,
really solid guy. Like he
yeah,
seems like a
he's
really
like a
solid studio
good.
guy.
yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a piece of shit.
No, I have. Yeah, I don't know.
You need
I have
you need to find a
still-
different way to talk about directors you don't like. I'm sorry, it's too aggressive. It's too aggressive.
Oh,
I have to do some catching up on Alien stuff, but I'd say I'm still pretty excited for this if I
yeah.
can manage
I
to
just
squeeze in all the
well,
Alien movies.
I guess I would
beforehand.
be more excited about it, or just like less like sour towards it if like it wasn't like what we were getting instead of like the third Alien movie in Ridley Scott's trilogy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like if we got the first two George Lucas prequels and then got like Force Awakens, that's like okay.
Right. Oh,
Like,
that's
it's
a good.
It's
Yeah.
just
This
it's
this
just
is gonna be
bizarre. Or like
way more minor than Force Awakens.
yeah, maybe like
Well,
one of the spin-offs even. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just I don't know. I'm excited for it because I like the Alien franchise, but it's also like I wish we still got the Alien
Yeah.
Covenant 3.
This is
or
gonna be
2.
a lot of fun. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our next movie is not certainly coming out in 2024, but probably will be, which is another Yorgos Lanthimos movie, Kinds of Kindness.
Yeah. This was already shot, right?
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
has been shot. It should be coming out this year. Emma Stone is in it again. Like I think they're going to capitalize off of the
We
Poor
got-
Things success and really push this movie out. Like
Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Hong Chu,
Yeah,
Willem
the
Dafoe, Joe Alwyn, Margaret
cast
Qualley, Kiki
rocks.
Palmer, Hunter Schafer.
the cast rocks.
Hunter Schafer, Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
It's
So,
this is
it's-
gonna be a good movie.
The description is tell 3 separate stories with the cast playing different characters in each. So like a little
Yeah.
anthology with
a
like
little, yeah.
the
I mean,
coolest
this
people in the world.
is
movie
Doug
is
just
going
finding
to-
out about this movie live on the podcast.
Yeah, no.
Did Doug not know
Hunter
about this
Schafer-
movie?
Hunter Schafer Yorgos movie. Here we go. This is gonna
Yeah.
rock.
A contemporary film set in the U.S. 3 different stories with 4 or 5 actors who play.
Yeah, like this is gonna be a good ass movie,
Yeah,
and it's
no.
coming right off the back of Poor Things. Like this could be
Mhm.
like
Yeah, again, like Kevin said, we don't have a release date, but like it's
Yo,
already
Jesse
shot.
Plemons is
so-
skinny and bald in this. I'm looking at set photos. Margaret
Let's
Qualley's
go.
in like. Yo, Willem Dafoe's all fucking. He has that shit on. Anyways, yeah, bro. Oh my
no.
god,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited
this
for
movie is
this.
gonna be good.
There's this one, and then I know there's another one we might talk about. We're talking about the other one later, or the other Yorgos movie?
Other Yorgos movie.
Yeah,
I
there's
know
one more.
there's like multiple ones he's shot. Like he's shot. I think like
right.
so. Like we don't really have. This is the one most we have. I think this one is the one we have the most information on. But there's like he just kind of shot a bunch of shit with Emma Stone. So like Emma Stone's just gonna be in every movie ever is now. It seems like. But like
Which
a
is
lot
great.
of
Like
it seems like we're just seeing a lot of Yorgos, and this one seems awesome. Like I love so many people in this movie.
yeah.
You know, Joe Alwyn.
I
of
have full
Billy,
faith in
Billy
this
Lynn
movie. Like,
fame. Like
if we're
come on,
talking
there
about
we go.
safe, if we're talking about safe,
Billy
locks.
Lynn fame.
Here we go.
No, but if we're talking about safe locks, this is gonna be a great.
Oh, yeah.
movie, like we know.
A Safe Lock is
Um,
like a movie I'm gonna be hella excited about till the day it comes
Yeah.
out.
Speaking of
Yeah.
movies that one person on the podcast in particular is extremely excited about, next up is Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas.
Oh,
Talk about-
don't make me do this. Oh.
Well, you are doing it because we're
Emerald
on
Fennel.
the podcast.
Emerald
this
Fennel.
film, Ballerina,
Emerald
is
Fennel.
written by Emerald Fennel.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh.
It's
and it's
the
written
more-
by Shay Hatton.
And
the
it's
more I
directed by
look into
Frederick
it,
Wiseman.
the more I look into it, the
That's
more I'm
not
like, it's so hard to get really optimistic about Ballerina. The Continental Show, which is the first John Wick spinoff, was bad. This is going to be the second John Wick spinoff. And
Yeah.
granted,
I
it
know.
stars one of my favorite actresses, contemporary actresses. I like Ana de Armas a lot. I just need her to be in something that's fucking like really good.
Yeah. It's actually shocking how much love you have for her, considering how often she is appearing
How
in
often
these
she
bad
lets
movies.
you down, man.
No, dude, it's like because she has the sauce, bro, and it's like she's so
I'm not
she's like
denying it. It's just
she's like good in stuff. Like I like her in movies that are bad. Like like
yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just
it's just
I feel like it's like falling apart in front of your eyes.
I
Like
know
it's
it
like
is falling apart right in front of my.
it's like
I'm
you're
so
holding on to
invested.
a high school crush while you're about to get married,
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's just like I don't want to be weird about it, but it's like I'm just very invested, and it's like every time I'm like, oh my god, Ana de Armas movie, this is gonna be awesome, and it's like, fuck, dude, come
and then
on.
it's
This,
yeah.
and this one, it's like
And then
I want to be
Emerald
optimistic
Fennell
about it, but it's
is
like,
writing it.
come,
Yeah.
No, but
I
it's like, I think that's
imagine
funny that I don't think Emerald Fennell is a good director, but like it's always like what's the Emerald Fennell director movie that she didn't write, and this is a movie that she didn't direct but she wrote.
yeah, which would make it even
Like,
worse.
let's go.
Yeah, probably won't be good, but we could see. I know Doug is also excited for the next movie up, which it does have a much better chance of being good. Terrifier 3.
oh, I forgot this is
Christmas
this is a
Terrifier.
December release this
Yeah.
year. Terrifier
It's
3. We
killing
all saw
babies.
Terrifier 2.
Yes, I still haven't watched the first one. Maybe I will, but I
I'm
don't
not going
really
to.
want to.
Not doing
Listen,
that shit.
I was not brave enough to see Terrifier 2. I let my friend down who wanted to see it in theater. He went and saw it by himself because I was too scared. I ended up
Damn.
watching the movie anyway online with you guys. As I expected, was terrified, which is weird because whatever, we can have that. We've had that conversation before. Like I'll see this one in theaters. I'll be there. I will watch it. I will maybe be
I
really
like that
scared.
it's Christmas themed.
Yeah. I love the
That's-
poster where he's like
Is
like
this coming out in
skinned Santa
December?
Claus. It comes out on Christmas,
Oh wow.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird
Do we know how much bigger this budget is than Terrifier 2?
I'm
Well,
gonna
it got cut because they were killing babies, so they got dropped.
so like I'm assuming that the budget was like a magnitude larger than Terrifier 2. But then I'm also assuming that like they lost some support because Damien Leone refused to compromise on his vision, which is killing babies or whatever.
Right.
Like,
It's
yeah. What a
not
sick
saying
fuck.
yeah. I mean, it's fucked up, but it's like
but it's also it's like
have you seen the movies?
No, I
yeah.
Like,
I think listen, I like Terrifier 2 a lot. I think it's like not even just like, oh, it's transgressive and whatever, because like he kills kids in it or whatever, but it's like I think it's so fun. I think that like some of the violent gags in it are really funny. I think that Art the Clown is a funny like horror icon. The guy that plays him is really good. I think Damien Leone he has a vision, and I think it works, and there's a place for this in the culture. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Our next movie on the list, it's funny that it's happening in this order because we'll be talking about somebody related to this director later. But our next movie is The Watchers, which is the directorial debut from Ishana Night Shyamalan.
Do we have cast news on this?
Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning.
I knew there was someone in it. Yeah, we don't really know too much about it.
And George Campbell, who plays the girl in
Georgina Campbell.
Georgina Campbell, who plays the girl in
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I will be there day one. I'll support it.
Right.
We don't really know too much about it. So
listen, and this
is a very cool. It's a very cool thing that's like I said, we'll be talking.
Yeah, this is our generation's Sofia Coppola.
Yeah, it's cool that they. It's cool that both her and her father have a movie coming out in the same year.
It's cool
like,
that
that's an awesome thing.
He's working with like all of his children, like all. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Right. Yeah.
But great dad, all-time dad. On the outside looking in.
Yeah. Do we know anything about like what happens in this movie?
It's based on a book. It's based on a book, I'm pretty sure.
It's like people like
don't tell Cassavetes.
It's like people stuck in a forest, right? Something like that.
Oh, been there.
It's like a 3-strain. It's like a movie with like it's a small movie.
Yeah,
the cast is small. I think it's like people stuck in a forest somewhere.
3 strangers and watched by mysterious creatures each night. It seems interesting. Yeah. I mean, listen, we're big M. Night fans, and that reaches out to the M. Night's kids.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm interested. Like, I'm really interested in seeing it and kind of, I guess, like how, not how good it will be, just but like as a kid of someone that like I think is like very fucking good, and obviously they have like a close working relationship. So let's just see how much that like leaks over. Obviously, like she'll be interested in different things, but I'm sure there's like some of his kind of fascinations.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
would
they've both
kind of
directed
bleed over.
episodies of that TV show, right?
Yeah, which is really
Which
like, and
also,
they've
like,
worked
that's
like
she
so
wrote.
M. Night's
She
such a good dad,
I
dude.
remember
Yeah.
watching this. I remember watching this Instagram live stream, and it's like her and M Night, and M Night's like, "All right, when are you gonna send over those notes? You know, I need the script. I need the new updated script." And I just think that their relationship and their working relationship is so close that there's gonna be some obvious like M Night isms in this movie. Maybe
Yeah.
not like it feels like exactly an M Night movie. Also, it's gonna feel like it's her movie, but definitely there's gonna be stuff that I'm gonna love. That's just because I love M Night so much.
Yeah. Our next movie, speaking of directors you love, In the Lost Lands, directed by Paul
Oh,
W.S.
yeah.
Anderson.
Okay. This
Um,
shit is gonna rock. This is it's based off a short story, or it's an adaptation of a short story from George R. Martin, who did
Mhm.
that big show. And it's
that
starring
big show.
Dave
Elden Ring is what you're
Bautista.
thinking of.
Oh yes, this
Um,
big show, Elden Ring, starring Kit Harington.
right.
So yeah, no, this is gonna rock. This is one of the most anticipated movies of the
I had no
year.
idea Dave Bautista was in this until right now.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
big like Dave Bautista movie. This might, who knows? We don't really have much information about it. We have some, but like in terms of like release and like trailer and like images, we don't really have any. But who knows how big it is going to be, because like it's Paul W.S. Anderson. But I do think like in terms of like very niche internet communities, I think this is going to be really big.
Can
It's
we anticipate it to be like the perfect bait movie for this year for you, the way that Skinamarink was, where it's going to be on the
Bait?
bottom of most people's list,
Oh,
and you'll be able to make a bunch
yeah,
of TikToks about how much you like
Well,
it?
I think
I don't know.
I think
I don't
but
know.
but
People are
people like George
normally
R. R. Martin
negative.
so much. Like,
Yeah, but people
Right,
don't like
okay.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah,
think
that's what I was suggesting, not the George R. R. Martin thing.
But
But
I
that's a
think that,
good
like,
point.
but a lot of the criticism with Paul W.S. Anderson, it's like his biggest movies is like they're adaptations that aren't faithful. Oh, well, that might also hurt him here. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. But if people really like George R. R. Martin and he sways any way different,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to predict on like a director that normally most people don't like. That people that are like really into.
But
him,
you've
like,
never seen a
really
movie
love
from him that you dislike, right?
No, but so that's the thing. I was like, I'm totally like 100% like I'm excited for this. I think it's gonna be like one of the best movies of the year. I just don't know how much people are talking about it or care. But like Dave
Yeah.
Bautista, I love. I talk about him all the time. I think he's so good in Knock at the Cabin. I want to see him.
Mila
in a bunch of-
Jovovich.
Right.
Right.
She is like in every one of Paul W. Anderson movies. She rules.
She rocks.
She's like the ultimate like badass like female lead in terms of like action movies and these like kind of budget. She rules. So like this cast I think is gonna rock. In terms of like the kind of being a George R. R. Martin adaptation that rules, I think that's awesome. There was so like I know Doug, you talked about like he did a lot of this in like the game engine, like the in terms of the background
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Which really interesting. I'm really interested to see like what it looks like in terms of like I think this is really interesting, like kind of artistic decision and creative decision in terms of like the tech that he's using. So I do think it's going to be like a really interesting movie that will probably be one of the better of the year.
Yeah. Our next movie on the list is a bit of a silly one. The Idea of You, which has Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Galitzine in it. I don't know how to say his last name.
And he's like
he is
he's
formerly the
pop
star of Red,
star.
White, and Royal Blue. Yeah, he's a pop star, and she has just split up from her husband and falls in
It's
love
like a
with
Harry
young
Styles
pop
fanfic
star.
or something.
Yeah, pretty much. That's like what it's based on. And Michael
Yeah,
Showalter is directing it, who made The Big Sick, which is a rom-com that a lot of
And
people
the
like.
Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Yeah, The Eyes of Tammy Faye I didn't love as much, but like it got some awards attention.
I remember The
like,
Big Sick being fun. I think it'll be fine. Like it's gonna be like a fun little movie.
yeah, I think this could be cool.
Anne Hathaway.
I feel like
I was gonna say
she's on like a run of playing some fun characters. If this is like as fun as it sounds, because her character in Eileen, she gets to do a lot with as well.
Is Anne Hathaway the most attractive woman to ever live?
Ever live is
Can we start a dialogue?
Listen, for the longest time, she's probably been like my longest running like movie star crush ever. So I wouldn't like debate you on that.
I'll debate you on that.
She rocks. She's so good. I think this could be fun. I don't know. Like this could be like very easy, like straight to streaming garbage, like one of the worst movies of the year.
Have you guys seen the still that was released for this? It's so silly.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a really fun movie that's fine.
Right. I don't know. I also think like I think he's again. I'm not going to try to butcher his last name, but like
he's the guy in Bottoms, right?
Yeah, like he's funny, like in Bottom. Like
Yeah,
he has
like
like the way that he plays that character is very silly.
He's
Like
got,
he's a likable
crippling like basic face though, but
that's true. Yeah,
he's fun. I think he's fine.
And he's also blown up for a number of roles on like garbage streaming movies.
I don't know why he's really blown up, but I think he's solid.
Well, what I was gonna say is he's been in 3 of the biggest like streaming movies of the past couple years: the Cinderella movie, Purple Hearts, and then Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Like, I don't think he's
super successful on streaming.
It's kind of bizarre that he's this popular.
I get what you're saying. He
just really doesn't have that it factor, but I think he is decent, and it's I'm interested in this, but I'm not like over the moon, I guess, interested.
No, totally fair. Our next movie is another one that is not guaranteed to come out this year. Mother Mary, directed by David Lowery.
Another Hunter Schafer.
Another Anne Hathaway movie as well.
We're going crazy now.
And another like pop movie, right? Like a pop star movie.
Yeah, she's really into pop star movies. This is going to be the better of the 2 Anne Hathaway movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Really
I mean,
really excited for this one. David Lowery's interesting. He's kind of got a like all over the place kind of career, but I do think he is a good director.
I'm very pro David Lowery. I think he knows ball. I think he has sauce.
Yeah, I think he's good.
He's young too. He's like in his 40s.
Yeah, because he's been making he got into filmmaking really early. He had a big break really early into his career.
Yeah, so he's kind of a guy where I look at David Lowery and I'm like, I like some of these movies. I think a lot of his best movies are coming. Like I don't
I would argue his best movie so far is The Green Knight, which is his last.
Yeah, I would agree.
His most recent.
And I think like all his best work is ahead of him, and so that's really exciting for me. It's just like we don't really have the ability to talk about him a lot because he's just his best work is ahead of him. But I do think like again, if I was gonna bet on like a guy that's gonna be really really great in about like 10 or 15 years, it's going to be David Lowery. I think he's gonna
especially.
Really great movie.
Listen, I'm a defender of David Lowery's like one for them like Disney movies. I think that they're better than most Disney movies. Sure. But especially if like he gets older and he doesn't have to make those anymore.
That's the thing is he kind of is in a weird place where he's like kind of just like he doesn't have the biggest kind of clout and ability to just kind of make whatever he wants. And I just think if he's able to just be able to get more pull and just be able to make a lot more crazy shit that he wants to do, I think he's going to make some really, really good stuff.
Yeah. I think also before we move on, it's worth mentioning that Michaela Cole is also in this, whose like biggest success is in TV. She made I May Destroy You. She also starred in it. And apparently, from everything I've heard from everybody I know, that is like one of the great shows of the past couple of years.
She's like the second lead in this, right?
Yeah. So
it's Hathaway
alongside Anne Hathaway. Yeah.
Which if I had to guess, I would guess that Anne Hathaway or Hunter Schafer play the pop star, and that Michaela Cole plays the fashion designer. Right. Is what my guess would be. But
she seems awesome.
No, I'm interested to see
if she's in a big role here.
Hunter Schafer's role is, because it seems like you got the 2 leads, and then like
Hunter Schafer's fucking due for a breakout, dude.
Yeah.
No, I mean this could be the Hunter Schafer year.
We'll talk about some movie later. But I mean we're talking about 3 movies today. It's going to be a big year for Hunter Schafer.
Yeah. Our next movie
is too, whenever that comes out. But like really interesting kind of rise for her recently.
Yeah. Our next movie is a massive one. Horizon: An American Saga, directed by Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Are we the only podcast that is going to talk about this movie?
No, actually, I'm pretty sure it was already mentioned on The Big Picture.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did they actually mention this?
That's crazy. Mention this movie. I'm so curious. I'm so curious about this because like this could just be a massive hit for the specific Yellowstone crowd, which is like a major crowd. Like the people who love Kevin Costner will flock to see the like over 50s.
I think this is kind of in that like I think maybe not as big as Top Gun, but like it's kind of when Top Gun came out, I was like, there's a market there for like that generation, or they don't really market to. You know, they love like
Yeah.
these guys. This is where the people who have money, you know, like they
Yeah.
like movies too. Let's you market to those people sometimes. Kevin Costner, his show really big. He finally getting able to make this kind of weird franchise thing that he's went on to make forever. It's kind of like Kevin Costner's Megalopolis, but even
Yeah.
like sort of bigger, where it's like it's a franchise and he's making multiple movies. And so
And
yeah,
two of them come out this summer, very close to each other.
it's kind of like a
like 2 parts. Yeah, it's kind of like what
Matrix,
Rebel Moon's
2
doing.
and yeah, sort of like a Rebel Moon Matrix thing, where it's like both parts are coming out like very back to back of each other.
Yeah, I think like 6
which
weeks
is
apart in the
cool,
summer.
which is cool. I think I'm really interested to see like how this does in terms of like when people start ramping up and it starts getting like more trailers and people start talking about it, because Kevin Costner, good actor, I really love him in terms of like an acting performance base. I haven't seen his show or anything. Like I haven't seen a lot of his work, but I do like him as an
as a
actor. Sam
director,
Worthington's
it's
in this.
interesting.
Shout out Sam Worthington. There's
Right.
actually a lot of good actors in this. I think Jenna
So,
Malone's in it.
What's I think it's something interesting about Yellowstone is like he's like the main guy in Yellowstone, right? Like he's like the
Yeah.
Logan Roy of Yellowstone, but but Yellowstone has an auteur. Yellowstone is I'm forgetting his name,
Taylor Sheridan. Is it Taylor Sheridan?
Taylor Sheridan. He's like the writer and director of Yellowstone, right?
Yeah.
So now it's like I think, and then that's a big reason why it's so successful. So I think it's interesting that now Kevin Costner, who I don't think really was that emotionally invested in Yellowstone, like this character story, you know, because like he was like willing to just like be like, hey, I'm not fucking doing this anymore, you know, and kind of fuck them over. I think now I'm really interested in Kevin Costner being like, okay, I did like this huge Western TV show that's like the biggest show, like the most watched show in the world for fucking 5 years. I'm gonna go make my movie, you know?
Yeah. Can I just say, I had no idea Taylor Sheridan actually made Yellowstone. I just looked at Yellowstone and assumed that Taylor Sheridan made it, and I was correct.
Yeah. Also, I like Taylor Sheridan. I'm not trying to shit on.
No. Yeah, he's. I think he's good. I'm just saying, like, it just makes sense that he made
really
Yellowstone.
interesting cast for Horizon. We have, you know, Kevin Costner, obviously. Sienna Miller is the second build. Then Sam Worthington, Jamie Campbell Bower, who got really popular recently because he was in Stranger Things, but he's kind of been around for a bit. You have Luke Wilson, like obviously huge name there. Thomas Hayden Church, who was in those Spider-Man movies as Jenna Malone, who's really great. A lot of just really Takana Means, who was recently just in Killers of the Flower Moon, who's like awesome, just a guy.
The detective, like FBI guy.
Yeah, he rocks. Michael Rooker's really great. Just a lot of like really like solid like B-list, like C-list actors that like are really great when they show up. Like a lot of just guys. So I think like just a movie filled with like guys that rock is really good. I think like to have Kevin Costner as that lead and just like a bunch of really great guys is a really great recipe for like a really good movie. I'm excited for this a lot.
And calling it Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1, and like and the first line of the synopsis is a 15-year chronicle of pre and post Civil War expansion. It's like holy shit, dude! This movie's gonna be fucking massive. I hope it's good.
Speaking of
like
guys who fucking rock,
Kevin Costner, Oppenheimer franchise.
We're gonna move on. This movie has a guy that I'm so excited for this movie. Next up, we have I Saw the TV Glow from Jane Brown. We're all going to the World's Fair. There's a possibility that this is my favorite movie of the year. I'm so excited for this movie.
Me too.
I think Justice Smith is the fucking coolest. I want him to like ascend to the craziest levels of stardom. I think he's so fucking awesome. I get so excited about everything he's in. It also has Bridget Lundy Payne, who like nobody would know, but she's in this show Atypical that a lot of people don't like, but I think she is by far the best performance in the show.
There's Connor O'Malley in it.
I think she's so likable in that show. I think we're all going to the World's Fair. Connected with me like very few things I've seen. Like this is like set up to just be like a masterpiece. Like I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, I think
Phoebe Bridgers is in the movie. Is this real?
Phoebe Bridgers. That was the first thing I knew about this movie. That was that Phoebe Bridgers was going to be in this movie. Who knows? Like probably not that much like in the movie, but very interesting casting there. Super excited for this. I think Jane. We talked about David Lowery. I think Jane as well as one of those directors who obviously like has we're all going to the World's Fair, and then it's like some other like little things, but like that was her first like directorial debut big movie. So this is her follow up there. So she's very kind of young into this kind of industry. So I think she's another person who has the potential to be really big in terms of just like a really great director. So super excited for this follow up. I like we're all going to the World's Fair a lot.
Do we know?
Seems to me more of a obviously it seems to be a step up in the budget in terms of like actors and just kind of being a sophomore feature. So really excited for this one a lot.
I saw the TV Glow playing at Sundance. Like
It is,
we're all going to the World's Fair. Did
okay? Yeah. It's already confirmed and everything too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Premiere.
So that we'll be hearing news about that very, very soon. Then.
Very soon.
Yeah, I follow
really,
somebody
really
somebody who has seen this movie and gave it 5 stars.
I don't.
They might be
Justin,
lying.
Justin, right, Doug? I don't know if you know Justin.
Yeah.
Kevin, but he worked on this movie.
Whoa! That's cool. Shout out Justin.
Yeah, he posted a thing on his Instagram of him like in this like big cast photo. But shout out Justin, totally awesome that he worked on this. But yeah, I'm really excited for this movie a lot. I love. I mean, again, Justice Smith. I think Justice Smith rules.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Next up, we have a movie that I don't know much about. It's called Love Me, starring Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun.
I'm
sold.
It's like a post-apocalyptic romance, right?
I remember I've seen like the one still of this. It's kind of like the whale still, but big year for Kristen Stewart, I think, coming up. She's kind of in a lot of these movies that like are going to premiere at festivals. So this is the one that we know the least about, or just compared to the other big one that we actually have a trailer for. But it's Kristen Stewart. Stephen Yeun, I think, is really good. He just dropped out of great. I think he just did the coolest thing ever, where he just like sent an email.
Dropped out of an MCU.
He said, "Marvel, I can't do this. I got to do some indie movie."
It was the what's her name? She directed, or maybe not. Fucking it up. I shouldn't have even said
it. He did it for a new Lee Isaac Chung movie.
Yes, thank you. Lee Isaac Chung. I was trying to think of her name.
So Baller.
Yeah.
Baller move.
Lee Isaac Chung also, he has a movie that isn't going to be on this list at one point.
But Kristen Stewart, I think, is one of our great actresses working today. So anything she does, I'm gonna watch.
Oh my god, he's doing that movie! I didn't know Isaac Chung was.
Yes. We're gonna talk about that. What
is going on in Hollywood right now?
I'm very excited.
What?
No. We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there.
We're gonna move on to we're gonna move on to The Bike Riders, which was supposed to come out this past year and has now been pushed back to 2024. A lot of people have already seen it because it played at festivals. It's a Jeff Nichols movie. It's starring Austin Butler and a lot of other Jodie Comer, Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Speaking of the accents don't matter.
A lot of people complaining about the Jodie Comer accent.
I don't care about Jodie Comer's accent. It's
I think Jodie Comer's so good.
This movie for me is like, hey, let's do it, Austin Butler. This is another star vehicle for Austin Butler. If it's really big,
it's a big cast. Really kind of a big cast for this movie.
Really big cast. I'm not crazy. I'm just not really like over the moon about it, but I do think Austin Butler, another chance for him to really show off his acting chops.
I think that something that's really cool about this movie that people aren't really considering too much is how this movie is an adaptation of a series of old photographs of a biker gang in Chicago. Like not like based off like the story of that biker gang.
It's literally just the photographs.
Yeah, based off the photographs, which that's really awesome. I think that's just a cool thing.
And I have seen Take Shelter from Jeff Nichols, which I think is a very interesting movie. Kind of divisive because it definitely is a movie that I could see not working for a lot of people. And I hear Mud's good. I mean, like I feel like this guy is pretty solid. I feel like this movie could be good. It's an interesting movie for Tom Hardy to be like the third lead in, because since like the Venom stuff, he's just kind of disappeared recently. Like he's not really like leading anything, and like is just kind of like not the most relevant person right now, other than when the Venom stuff pops up.
I would say that Tom Hardy being this movie might even be like a like a third lead might be a thing to get excited about because of the Venom stuff. It's like he has fun making the Venom movies and he gets paid a lot of money to do them, so he doesn't really have to do
Yeah.
anything else outside of that. So the fact that he did decide like, oh, I'll do this
Dude, Mike
too.
Put
Ryder is
Tom
right.
Hardy in Heat 2 for $0. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if he had that Venom bag, now he can do the Adam Driver thing where he can just jump around
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
and work with auteurs and just like
Yeah.
be in good movies.
not to keep hinting at other parts of the episode, there is a movie that we're going to be talking about in the news section, not in this section, that involves something a little bit Tom Hardy related. We will get there, but
Oh, I don't even know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Cool.
you guys don't know what it is.
Venom
but,
4.
nor will you guys be that excited for it. But regardless,
Oh, he's in
we can move on
Deadpool
to the
3.
next one. We have a sequel, Beetlejuice 2. Tim Burton directing. Jenna
Someone
Ortega.
get Jenna Ortega a better agent.
So you're not excited for Beetlejuice 2?
Oh, I'll be there.
You know, I've never
I'll
seen
be there.
Beetlejuice.
I
That's like a
remember
major
seeing
blind
Beetlejuice
spot for me.
very young at like a family friend's house, and really haven't seen it since. Tim Burton's kind of not great.
Washed. Tim Burton's washed.
Yeah,
here's
Tim
like
Burton.
Tim Burton's getting married to Monica Bellucci, and that's all. He doesn't need to care about movies anymore.
It's like, yeah, I don't know.
He has that Netflix bag with Wednesday. He's getting married to Monica Bellucci.
Yeah.
Listen, bro, he can retire.
I'll be honest.
Heat 2 for free. Like it's just like I don't. Yeah, who knows what's up with this movie? Give me a trailer, maybe I'll be more excited.
As somebody who's never even seen the first Beetlejuice and like not even that interested in watching it,
you watched
maybe...
Wednesday without watching Beetlejuice?
Well, I just never like. I mean,
no, I'm not saying that's fine.
They're two separate things.
Yeah, I just think it's funny.
No, it's just like I don't know. I don't really want to watch Beetlejuice, so Beetlejuice 2 is probably like maybe the least excited I am for like any movie on this list. Like I just don't.
That's crazy.
Okay, not okay. Obviously, I'd rather watch this than like Argyle. I'd rather watch this than like.
I think this movie's gonna be fine. I'm just not like I'll rewatch Beetlejuice for it. I think Beetlejuice is fine. I remember it being fine.
Cannot physically get myself to give a fuck about Tim Burton in the year 2024.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't think he's gonna bring anything interesting.
We can move on to a movie from a director that we do give a fuck about. Another movie that could have came out in 2023, but has now been pushed to 2024. Hitman from Richard Linklater, starring Glenn Powell. This could be like the Glenn Powell movie. Like this could be like the thing
people
that
don't like him.
Separates him. No, I think people do. I think people
just
really do.
It's really funny. Like people either really like him or really don't. I think he's great.
Dude, he is so good.
This is it's kind of everybody wants some sequel. Really
he turns into a hitman.
I think that the premise of Hitman is kind of genius. I think it's funny that there isn't a movie that has been about this yet, where it's like, oh yeah, Hitman don't totally exist, like really how people imagine it, but people imagine that it does exist. So like you could just pretend to be a hitman and people are gonna believe you. Like
I have a hitman related story that would have to be told off. That would have to be it'd have to be told off the podcast. We can talk about it.
All right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, I'm just saying. Anyway, no, like this movie's gonna rock. I love Richard Linklater. I think
we have friends that have seen Hitman and love it.
Yeah,
too.
I hear people who have seen it say Glenn Powell is like sensational in this movie, which is like totally
it's kind of just annoying
me.
That we don't have a release date, do we?
I think it comes out in the first half of the year. I do think it comes out.
It's a Netflix thing, so it's like who knows? Totally.
Right.
It was gonna come out this year. It was gonna come out in December, but they pushed it back because what's it called?
Anyone But You.
Yeah, Anyone But You.
Right.
That Netflix didn't want, which I think is smart. People are like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I think it's smart.
That.
Yeah, but it's like Netflix can't push back Anyone But You, you know?
Yeah. I should call him up. But yeah, Linklater is kind of one of our best working guys. Always excited for whatever he pushes out. And Glenn Powell's one of our very bright rising stars. So this is going to be a very important movie this year.
For sure.
Our next movie, curious how this one ends up being, Spaceman, starring Adam Sandler and directed by Johan Rank, who directed Chernobyl.
Chernobyl guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
directed
known about this
the limited series Chernobyl
for so long.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for
Um,
this played in my theater the
Oh,
other
really?
week.
You got
Like
that?
last
Yeah.
week. Yeah, they
I've
played
seen
the
the trailer
trailer for this,
before,
like
but I
a
haven't seen it in
teaser.
the theater.
Um,
Very
The
minimal
image
excitement
is
for it, but
awesome.
I don't know.
Like
yeah.
no, like I will say, like the image of the trailer, and even when you go onto the Letterbox page, that poster that they have on Letterbox right now, the movie looks really fucking cool. I think that the Chernobyl series is very well made.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what
I don't.
Yeah.
I think
I have
the cast
faith.
is cool. I like Adam Sandler, I like Paul Dano. I'm coming around to Carey Mulligan. I
Coming
think
around to Carey Mulligan.
I don't know. Listen, we don't need to get into it. I
Uh,
don't. It's like I don't know. I think this is cool. I
Public
think it's
Enemy
weird.
star Carey Mulligan.
Yeah.
yeah. I think she's great. I think I think that big three in
Well,
the
she was
cast
in
is
Saltburn.
interesting. Sure, but like in a pretty minor role. No, I don't think she's good in that movie, but I think she's great in general. I think that like big three is an interesting cast, and maybe I'll watch
It's
Chernobyl
no
now,
LeBron,
finally.
Wade, and Bosch, but it's fine.
Right. Okay. The basketball reference because it's an Adam Sandler
Gotta
movie.
get it in there. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck Adam
you know,
Sandler. That was just all me.
real. I don't know. We can move
He looks
on
goofy as fuck in
to.
that helmet, though.
He does look a little bit silly. I
It's
don't.
I think
I'm
it's hard to
curious if
look
people will
cool
take.
in a space helmet.
Yeah, it's
In
not.
there.
No, you
You've been
haven't.
there? You've looked cool in a space helmet?
No, I've been hard to look in a space helmet.
Okay. Our next movie is Paddington in Peru, the third Paddington
Oh
movie.
yay.
Um,
No Sally Hawkins, I think is a big miss. Also, just no Paul King. Paul King, I think, is still writing it, but it's gonna be fine. I think I've mentioned this before. It feels like those like when Disney would do those like spin-off animated movies where it would be like Lion King like 1.5, and it would be like this is still like the same franchise, but it feels separate and kind of like a straight to DVD kind of thing.
yeah.
So like I'm excited because I just like Paddington, but it's like no Sally Hawkins, no Paul King, kind of But we got Wonka, so like I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm in a
You know,
similar
It's
boat. I
tough.
just feel like it's not gonna be nearly as good as a
But who
follow-up
knows?
to
Maybe
Paddington 2,
it's
but
just
yeah, maybe it
like
will be. I mean, he's still
not gonna
working on the
be. It's
writing,
not
like
gonna be Paddington 2. That's fine,
sure.
but it can
Yeah.
still be good. You know,
It'll be
Yeah.
here's my prediction.
good kids. It'll be a
The
good
kids will
movie.
love it. Yeah, it'll be a
Yeah.
good kids movie.
Yeah,
That's my
I mean,
prediction.
the people love Paddington. The children yearn for Paddington.
Yeah,
The
Paddington is a
children
hard
yearn.
guy to fuck up. It's obviously it's
Yeah,
possible
like
to fuck up anything,
it's such a
but
likable character though.
it's
Like
he's a
it's
Yeah,
like
no
hard guy to
one's
fuck
gonna
up.
be like, this is the worst fucking movie ever. Like, no one's gonna be mad at Paddington 3. It's just I don't
yeah.
think it's like it's hard to get excited because we're just missing so many of the key elements that made Paddington 2 great. But I do
Yeah.
think it's still gonna be like a good movie.
It's gonna be an evolution, which is whatever. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, life
Um,
is like this.
Yeah.
Life is like Paddington and
Sometimes you have to get Wonka, and sometimes you need to get a Paddington in Peru so you can get a Wonka. Oh my
You
gosh.
need to
my
walk
words.
off to get in Peru, you know. I don't know, man.
Doug, are you ready to sell the people on your movie of the year? Next up, we have Damsel, starring Millie Bobby Brown.
All right,
there we go,
buddy.
there we go.
This is in contention for my sleeper pick. Damsel. Millie Bobby Brown, I think, is awesome. I think I don't know why I think that. I don't like Stranger Things. I don't even like her in
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But I
Oh.
think that I think she has the sauce. I think that listen, it's a cool original fantasy film, right? And it's like, but it's not like fantasy, like it's not Lord of the Rings fantasy. This is like video game. This is like Dragon Age
This is like
fantasy.
legend, like Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what really matters. Larry fucking Fong is shooting this shit. All right.
True.
The DP of like 300, Watchmen, a bunch of those Snyder pictures.
Dawn of Justice.
Real ass cinematographer. This movie looks good. This movie looks really good on these trailers.
This movie does look good.
We don't have a lot of images, obviously. We have a little teaser trailer. This movie's gonna look
you got to
good.
put up your blinders a little bit. You gotta ignore the fact that it's written by the guy that wrote Fast X, and then it's
well, shit like that doesn't matter in real life. All right, this
True.
is Larry Fong. Is a Larry Fong picture. All right. I think this is a good, another little good vehicle for Millie Bobby Brown. I think in terms of the step up from those Sherlock spin-off movies. Not like it's not like the biggest movie possible, but I do think it's gonna be a solid little fantasy flick that I'm excited for. I'm
Mhm.
excited to see her continue, and hopefully she can work with some like really great directors
Yeah,
in
well,
her future. But
I think she has like this. I think she has some kind of Netflix contract thing,
yeah,
so it's
they
tough.
got her
But
like Paramore, bro.
yeah, no, they got her like Paramore. True. Yeah. But I
This
don't
shit
know.
is
We'll see.
nuts
I'm
out
excited for
here.
this.
Yeah. Our next movie is Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. It's interesting trailer. There's a there's a scene of the two of them running together
Kissing.
with what looks like a Thanos gauntlet. Like
Yeah,
I don't.
this is like
I'm
it's
so
like Free
curious
Guy.
where it fits into the story.
Well,
Like,
Ryan Reynolds comes out of a portal and gives them like he has Thanos' head in one hand and the gauntlet in the other, and he's like, choose.
this is the director who made the previous Godzilla X Kong movie, correct?
This
that shit's
movie is gonna
sad.
be fucking dumb.
But how do we transition to another movie?
I don't know what's the next movie, Kevin.
Well,
we
let's
don't know what the next
transition to
movie is.
magazine
The
dreams.
next
Let's-
movie
Magazine Dream.
is Alex Garland's Civil War.
Oh, jeez, man.
Oh,
Talking
fuck.
about transition.
What?
I don't know what you meant by that. I have the
What?
lowest
What
level
about
of
that's the next
excitement for this movie. Whatever the lowest level of excitement you can have for a movie is, it's
Yeah.
this.
Listen,
It's not that and it's not even that I don't have faith in Alex Garland. Like I do think
I don't have
he's
faith
made
in Alex Garland.
Oh, okay. I do think he's made good movies. I do think this cast is good, but just seeing that
Owen,
trailer,
have you seen an
like,
Alex Garland movie?
I've seen Men. Woo-hoo.
Oh no.
yeah, I don't,
I
dude.
can't
I
go
just
back now.
like watching the trailer. I'm just like, this is
Men too.
This is not what I want to watch at all. Like, I have very
Yeah.
little interest.
No,
in
they're gonna
Listen.
be really big in certain
All right.
communities.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm putting on my big boy pants. I'm getting myself ready. Okay. I'm getting myself ready. Yeah, I'm excited for Civil War. I think it's gonna be good. I think. Listen, I don't know, guys. I'm excited for it a little bit because I like Alex Garland. It's gonna be a sci-fi movie. The trailer was bad. That's my thing. The trailer was bad. That's and I'm
Looks like
usually
The
it's
Walking Dead.
Kind
Yeah,
of looks like
it looks like
a
TV.
made-for-TV movie.
yeah, it looks like
it looks
TV.
like TV.
That's like
Um,
usually I'm able
it's
to get
also
myself excited about
it's
the
also
trailers,
the
but
worth noting. It's the biggest budget A24 movie yet. Kind of like looking
Oh,
like
good.
it's
This should
going
be
to
good.
be there.
why did Alex Garland get a blank check after Men? I understand like
Yeah.
getting a blank check after listen, it's the guy that made Ex Machina and Devs
Right.
and Annihilation. Like those are
You mean
pretty
It's
Yes.
crazy that it
successful
came
after Men.
Men.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
like Men. I don't want to get into why I like Men because
Right.
this is an annoying movie,
Yeah, because
movie to
this
talk
is like
about.
a family
Right.
podcast.
Well, not really, but
It's not a family podcast.
no,
but
it's I mean, it's interesting because it's like kind of looking like the movie that might launch
Oh,
like some
buddy.
bigger budget movies for A24.
are
Like
they trying to do like a franchise thing with this? I don't understand.
I don't think
Yeah,
so, but I do think
Civil
they'll probably
War-
start putting out. I do think
Oh,
there's like a
They're
clear
trying to
plan
bait
for
Greta
them to
Gerwig,
start. They're trying to what?
trying to get her from Netflix. So we do
Oh.
franchise movies too, Greta. Come on,
Okay.
show me with the money.
Jesse Plemons is a good actor who looked bad in the
Yeah.
trailer too. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, not speaking of transitions, we're transitioning to one of the best movies of the year.
We're doing what
already.
now?
We're moving on to one of the best
Hey,
movies of the
hey,
year.
speaking of
I'm so
transitions.
confident. Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho, starring Robert Pattinson, our best working
Let's
actor.
fucking go.
This is
Another movie where
like-
they have the whale photo. Where we just see that one photo.
Yeah,
of
the
him
whale
in it.
photo, and it's just like that 10-second clip of him spinning around.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna read this book before it comes out.
When is it coming out? Do we have a date?
March.
it comes out in March. It comes out soon.
March
Yeah,
29th.
it comes out soon. That March
Oh.
is a major month for
Major.
movies that I'm excited for. Both Mickey
Owen,
17 and Dune
good
2
deal.
coming out.
You
in
have to
March.
watch at least one Bong Joon-ho movie before Mickey 17 comes out.
You have to. I mean,
It doesn't even have to be a Parasite. You just have to watch one of them.
watch Memories of Murder. Well, actually,
No, he's not gonna like
No,
Memories of Murder.
No. What's the one?
I mean,
There's
he's
one that
not
I'm
gonna-
interested in. I'll watch.
The
it.
Host is about a monster.
Yeah, that one. that
yeah,
one's-
you'll
that's
like
the
the
one.
host. You'll like the host.
That's the one.
Dude, Mickey 17 has the odds. The odds for Mickey 17 being my favorite movie of the year are like minus 500 right now. Like we're looking really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably
It's-
should watch Parasite before it. But
You should.
It's just like
yeah.
a really
It's-
important movie. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's important.
Yeah,
it's great.
I watched The Godfather. I
Bong
might as
Joon-ho
well watch
rocks.
Parasite.
Go on your like
catch me
watching
if you
popular
can.
movies.
Let's go,
Yeah.
Spielberg.
No, Mickey 17 is gonna be so good, and Robert Pattinson working with Bong Joon-ho.
Oh,
like,
yeah, no.
what a perfect
Robert Pattinson
combination.
forced me to watch Parasite.
People are talking about Robert Pattinson on his comeback. No, this is his fucking victory lap. This isn't like him coming back.
Right. I mean,
Like,
he's
it's
been
just-
back.
He
Yeah.
just
and
laughed at
also,
everyone.
also, it's people. I can't believe people still
These
talk
bitches
about.
are not watching Cosmopolis.
Yeah, but it's
Exactly.
also like they still talk about him in like a post Twilight way. I'm like, bro, the movie's been out for 15 years. Like, you guys can move on. Like, and it's like, and also it's good.
his whole career is
Yeah.
post Twilight at this point. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like what? Yeah, it's a silly conversation. I mean, he's we would say could probably confidently say like the best working actor. Like not like a guarantee, but like we
Adam
can
Driver, but
sure
He's up there for sure. He's in that
Whatever.
top
yeah, it's
conversation.
like him and Adam Driver are kind of in a conversation by themselves almost.
That's what I meant. Like I
in their
meant, like,
age range,
he's
at
one
least
of
in their
he's
age
one of the
range.
names that you circulate.
Yeah,
in
he's
that
the guy.
conversation. Like
Yeah.
he's like the dude right now, and
Shout
Bong
out
Joon-ho is
Rob.
obviously a fantastic director.
I just think Rob's in more stuff I like than Driver.
Sure.
Rob's got a fantastic career. Really,
We have-
really great at picking projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
We have
taste. Like that's the
back-to-back-
thing. He has amazing taste. Like
We have back-to-back
is
exciting,
important.
good movies. Next up is Nosferatu from Robert Eggers.
oh, I forgot about this.
Should have put fucking Pattinson in this one. Talk about fuck Nicholas Holt, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, they should have put
Um,
Anya Taylor-Joy in this one.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
that's the biggest
should
thing.
have
This,
put-
The movie's
this
still gonna be good.
if
Let's
Anya
put
Taylor-Joy
Paul
was in this,
Giamatti in this
this
one.
would probably firmly be my most anticipated movie of the year. Which is a
Yeah.
dumb thing to say because we talk about like obviously we're all three of us are kind of auteurist in a way where it's like it's
Yeah.
all about the
Yeah.
director, but
So it doesn't really matter. Let's go.
Yeah, Nosferatu is gonna rock. I mean, Robert Eggers hasn't made a bad movie yet.
I dropped my phone.
Okay.
He's good. I do think again another guy where I think like I do think the best is ahead of him. I do think he's very young, very like new to
Yeah.
this. We got a couple movies down. Really excited for I think Nosferatu was just such a big like concept, such a big movie like in terms of like what it is, and what it is for him too. This is just such an important movie for him. So I do think
he's
that
been trying to
gonna
make
put
this shit
his
his whole
entire
professional career.
dick and balls in this, and I do think it's gonna come out well.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna
think
look
Bill
fucking
Skarsgård's
awesome.
really cool too.
I saw
Um,
some people say some fucking stupid shit about Nosferatu where they were like, "Oh, I'm not excited about this because it has been in production hell." And I'm like, "Is this what we're just talking about? Like
Yeah, are we
movies
just saying
that
things?
directors had to like work their ass
Well,
off to get
Like,
made?"
the thing about Megalopolis
Yeah.
was like you've been trying to get this forever, so it must be not good, or like it can't be good because you're trying to get this made forever. It's like okay, yeah, people are dumb
Yeah.
online. I've heard that I don't know who said it. It might have been Defoe or someone was like, yeah, Skarsgård is unrecognizable and kind of
I
transformed.
think
fully
Eggers
in-
said that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I knew it was someone
Yeah.
like that worked in the movie, but like apparently like really great performance from him as Nosferatu.
I think
yeah,
he
really
deserves to
excited.
like have like a major like he deserves to be like a guy leading movies rather than just like the go-to like villain kind of guy that he's mostly been because I just
Defoe?
think Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, Bill. Sorry,
Um,
Bill Skarsgård.
Who
Okay.
I
Talk
just think
about-
is like I
Talk
think he's
about
just
guy
like
who
excellent
has,
in everything.
good taste. Defoe is in like every good movie ever. Like that guy
Yeah.
just finds good movies. Really
Yeah.
great actor, but he just always shows up in really great pictures.
I think this is the perfect time for Eggers to be doing Nosferatu too, actually, because it's after The Northman, which by all accounts was like a really strong learning experience for him, where he went into it, he wasn't prepared to do something that big, and he like learned a lot about filmmaking and stuff from that experience. So I think that now is like the perfect time for him to do this.
Yeah, and it's
And
also
people
like
are
he's
excited for this movie.
got a couple movies now, and it's time for him to really blow up.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
this is like his big plan out all the cards, making the movie I want to always make.
Yeah.
Nosferatu's, a really important like movie in terms of like film history. Like it's something that everyone kind of knows about. So
Yeah.
really interested to see how this does in terms of like we'll be talking about this in the next like 10 years. It's like one of
It's
the
a big
best movies
deal.
of the decade or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure. Oh, I
Yeah.
think that, well, I mean, like this might be one of the most important. This might be the most important horror movie that comes out this decade for sure. We'll see.
I'm really interested to see looking back on it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Our next movie is one that we hinted at before. Lee Isaac Chung directed Twisters.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on in Hollywood?
Oh,
Why is
I know.
this guy-
I'm so. Can I just say I'm
This
so
is Glenn
excited for
Powell's
this
in
movie.
this, right?
Yeah,
I think this
Glenn
movie is going to
Powell-
be fucking awesome. Like, I'm really excited. This cast rocks. Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell, Anthony Ramos, Brandon Perea, Daryl McCormick, Maura Tierney.
Why is Lee Isaac Chung directing this?
Who cares? He's like,
No, I'm just like
he's
I'm just saying like it's like that's
no, it's random, but like it's like he's also a good director. Like it's not like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be a
I'm
bad
just.
thing.
But do you think like he's like, oh, I want, you know, what I really need to do is direct Twisters?
Maybe he really wants it. I don't know. Like it's like we don't know. I mean, it's like he's also the guy hasn't made a lot of movies. Minari was a huge like critical success. It's not exactly like a major hit. Maybe he's making Twisters because he needs the money. Maybe he just like actually really wants to make it. Like I don't know. To me, this looks like it could be. I still have to watch the original Twisters, which I hear is a movie that a lot of people like and maybe some people don't. But like to me, it looks interesting, and I think like the fact that it's Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, like I trust Lee Isaac Chung. I think this could be like one of. It's not my sleeper pick, but I think this could be just like genuinely like a really good movie.
All I remember about the original Twister is Bill Paxton doing the Bill Paxton thing. I'm, you know what I mean?
Actually, no, because I haven't seen the movie.
Well, whatever. And moving on. What's the next movie?
No, I think it'll be cool. Our next movie, speaking of big movies, Gladiator 2, the Gladiator sequel starring Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal's in it.
Have
Ridley Scott
any
is
of us
directing it.
seen the first Gladiator?
Yeah, obviously. What?
You have. Me and Owen haven't.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Can I say something that's like a hot take that maybe will probably change when I revisit it later at some point in the future? The first Gladiator is my favorite Ridley Scott movie.
Yeah, that should change probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. I'm gonna watch it before it comes out. I'm just not really too interested in it. I just know
I love Gladiator.
in terms of the Ridley Scott heads are like not crazy about it, but I will check it out definitely before I'm not just gonna watch it before the second one.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this because I think it's a really interesting vehicle for Paul Mescal in terms of like this is gonna be a huge movie, and he's really like people know him in terms of like he's a popular, just famous person, but in terms of like just regular people who watch movies, like he's just not like a guy, yet. So also late career Ridley Scott is phenomenal. I think he's in like a really interesting kind of mode right now. Even if you didn't think Napoleon is like the greatest thing ever, I think he's just really well working. Like he's really great director right now. I like his. That's why I haven't really seen Gladiator, because I think I'm more interested in his late style than I am in his earlier stuff. Even though like his earlier stuff consists of like Alien and Blade Runner, I still think like he's doing some really interesting stuff right now. So I do think like I'll probably like Gladiator 2 more than Gladiator 1, just because of that. But yeah, really excited for this, even if I haven't seen the original. But really, again, Denzel Washington too, really interesting cast. We did lose some players. I know. What's Barry Keoghan or Barry? I don't know how to say his last name, but Barry was a really good director, not really good actor. Even though I have
really good actor,
really an actor, even though he's in not like some of the greatest stuff. I do think he's good, and I would have wished he was in this movie. But who knows? The guys who replaced him.
I was going to say, do we know who is playing his character now? Or
I could look at the cast list and tell you who it is. He's not someone I'm really familiar with.
Is it? It's not Joseph Quinn, is it? The Stranger Things guy.
It's Fred. It's Fred. Something. It's Fred. Fred is in.
Oh, he was Fred Heckinger.
Fred was in 8th grade. He was in the Fear Street trilogy. He was in The Pale Blue Eye. He's going to be in Craven the Hunter. So not the greatest filmography. This is like easily like the biggest movie he's in. So this is going to be a really, again, we're talking about a vehicle for Paul Mescal. This is a really big vehicle for Fred here, because Fred's going to be the main villain in a Gladiator 2 sequel. So like he's got the opportunity of a lifetime here. this is such a big movie. Ridley Scott obviously picked him because he thinks he can do a good job here. If he can do a good job here, he's going to be really huge. Like, this is going to blow him up. So that's exciting in terms of, like, obviously Barry was just going to be just another step in his kind of world domination, but this is going to be an opportunity for some guy to really take advantage of working with someone like Ridley Scott.
Yeah. No, I know the Ridley Scott heads don't love Gladiator, but I adore that movie, so I'm so excited for a sequel. And of course it has, you guys know how I feel about, anybody listening knows how I feel about Paul Mescal. He's, like my favorite working actor alongside.
He's Paul Mescal. We always talk about, like, what's his name? The Priscilla guy, Jacob Elordi being, like, next up. He's, like, obviously, like, he's
Paul Mescal is, Jacob Elordi has hit that already in terms of stardom. I think Paul Mescal is similarly, like Owen said, famous online, but he is, like, going to ascend to, like, a very, very high, like,
Paul
movie.
Paul Mescal might be in a Marvel movie,
but he's
both kind of in similar spots though, where it's like they're in a few movies that are, like, good, and
they're both in huge TV shows.
Both in huge TV shows, but
really
I
don't know,
not
like normal people huge compared to Euphoria.
It's not as big as Euphoria, but it's a big TV show. Like,
sure, yeah.
Both, like, just in TV shows, and just not yet hit that, like, stardom of, like, random people will know him. Well, it's people, like, who are, like, online will know him, but like, just in terms of, like, that
your mom doesn't know who,
but he's gonna.
But those two people will, like, when we're talking about, I keep talking about, like, the next 10 years and just, like, futures and career stuff. These guys are the next step, really.
Like, those are the people to look.
Really excited for both of their careers.
Yeah. The next movie, I'm assuming you guys will want to gloss over, Lisa Frankenstein, which I think comes out next month.
So I mentioned this a little earlier, where it was like, we're gonna get some monster movies. We're gonna get a bad Frankenstein movie this year. This movie just looks, it's not gonna be good. So
I'm interested that Diablo Cody. I'm interested that Diablo Cody is the writer, but when you watch the trailer, it doesn't look like it
looks like a Disney Channel original movie.
It does look like it has a Disney Channel original cast. Like,
okay,
can I ask you guys a question? And I won't need to be straight with me. Can Catherine Newton act?
I think I've only seen her in Ant-Man.
Oh, she's in Lady Bird too.
Oh, I don't remember her in Lady Bird. So
she's like Barry in Lady Bird.
Well,
she's in a lot of Ant-Man.
But that's how can you measure an actor based on
exactly.
Like, we can't hold Ant-Man against her. We can't hold this weird Disney Channel original against her, really. And, like, we can hold it, like, why did she pick that role? Ant-Man, obviously, like, it's a big opportunity, but, like, you really have to see her in a good movie to.
I haven't seen it, but I'm sure she's really fun and Freaky, which is a movie that a lot of people had fun with. Like silly,
that's a horror movie, and she's like the lead comedy. In that movie.
Yeah, it's like a dumb horror comedy with her and Vince Vaughn. I'm sure she has a lot of fun.
Okay, so that would have to be that movie would have to be the movie where it would be like you'd have to watch that and be like, can she act based off that?
Yeah.
The other stuff that I've seen, I just can't really gauge that off of her.
Also, Cole Sprouse, what has he been up to?
He's listen, so this is kind of an aside, but, like, an interesting conversation to have because of the Charles Melton success with Riverdale. It's like, I'm curious if anybody else from the Riverdale cast. I'm curious if anybody. I was talking to somebody. I was talking to a friend about, like, if anybody else from the Riverdale cast will kind of, like, be in good stuff post Riverdale, other than Charles Melton, who clearly now will be. In my opinion, as somebody who has watched 4 seasons of Riverdale, he's kind of like my least favorite performance in the show. So I don't know.
He's the lead, right?
Excited for it. Well, there's not he's not really the lead. The lead is like the 3, or I guess like 2 main girls, but he's one of the leads. It's like an ensemble kind of thing.
I didn't mean to derail you there.
No, yeah. I like, out of all of, like, the, I guess, like 6, 7, 8 biggest people in the cast, he's like the least interesting to me. Even when I used to watch Riverdale, like, I would see Charles Melton, who is like, like the 6th or 7th lead, and I was like, this guy's cool. Like, I didn't get that from watching. I mean, he also has a terrible character to try to act. So maybe it's not his fault, but I can't be that excited for him in this random.
It's funny that we talked about. I mentioned this earlier when we talking about monster movies. Catherine Newton's also in that Untitled Radio Silence movie.
Oh,
So we'll see. That's like probably
right.
that's a good movie for her. I guess like actual working directors that are interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently she's in 3 Billboards. I haven't seen
Right, which I haven't seen that movie since back when it came out, so I don't remember. But I imagine,
but I'm not
there's a smaller
interested
role
in that.
in
But
that.
like, I'm more. I guess the monster movie that I'm more interested in that has Catherine Newton is going to be that Untitled Radio.
We can move on to a movie that I am very excited for that I wasn't even aware of until right before this episode, like a few days before this episode, which is Blitz, the new Steve McQueen movie starring Saoirse Ronan and Harris Dickinson. This shit's gonna rock, dude. Like, I haven't seen all of his movies, but my understanding is that Steve McQueen has not made anywhere near a bad movie yet. And I really like the ones that
Once you ask.
Okay, sure, but like they're all seemingly at the very least, like none of them are bad. Probably.
Once you ask, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of them.
I think he's made some really good movies.
Harris Dickinson, another guy.
I was gonna say this because
star.
like I'm so confident that he is at the stage right now, like going into this year, that Jacob Elordi was just at before this year. Like, I'm so confident that Harris Dickinson is like the next guy. Like, he is going to be Paul, like the way we're talking about Paul Mescal and Jacob Elordi right now is the way we will talk about Harris Dickinson in like
next year,
a year or two from now. He is the guy. Like, he is going to join that group.
The people online with the Heat 2 fan casting were like, if we can't get Butler, this was some people's idea for that Val Kilmer.
The Val Kilmer character. Yeah.
So like, dude, it was like a Butler was the one. If we can't get Butler, Harris Dickinson's kind of that runner up for that idea. So who knows? You know, that's just kind of casting speculation. But yeah, another guy talking about next 10 years, someone to watch there is Harris Dickinson.
Also, dear listener, if you're annoyed about us talking about Heat 2 speculation, I'm so sorry. This is the beginning for the rest of every podcast episode.
We're just sniffing it, dude.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for this Blitz. I want to get a little bit more into Steve McQueen.
Same. I want to watch all his movies.
I want to watch Shame at least, and I'm interested.
I love Shame.
I'm interested in Occupied City, which came out this year.
Well, it's not. Occupied City is actually, I think, getting a theatrical release sometime this year. We're not talking about it on the episode, but I think it's getting a theatrical release in like the next few months, maybe. I don't know if that's true, but that movie's like 3.5 hour long documentary. Like, I don't know how many people are going to see it in theaters.
It's like over 4 hours long.
Yeah, it's hard to like put that in theaters. I don't really think that many people are going to go watch it. But Steve McQueen to me is like so obviously really talented, and the cast. I mean, Saoirse Ronan and Harris.
Did you watch?
This is like a setup.
Small Axe?
No, I didn't, but I want to watch it. I have to check out the Small Axe stuff. We can move on past Blitz to I think one of the most interesting movies coming out this year. I don't know if you guys will agree though. Roadhouse, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Doug Liman has made good movies. He made Edge of Tomorrow. He's worked with Tom Cruise.
Previous
I know
Tom Cruise collaborator.
So. Previous frequent Tom Cruise collaborator. Jake Gyllenhaal looks shredded for this movie. He's already played like a fighter role before. He's very into this character, and for me, I think this is exciting because I made a video about this a few months ago when The Covenant came out, like earlier this year. Jake Gyllenhaal has been on a pretty bad run for one of like the best working actors. Like, he very clearly established that he's super, super talented for like a decade. And then over the past couple of years, outside of Ambulance, has made nothing but pretty bad movies. Roadhouse, straight direct to streaming. Direct to streaming, probably bad movie. I like the original Roadhouse. I think it's pretty fun. I think it's pretty good. This is like very clearly not a similar story and like structure, I guess, but not gonna be really the same story at all. It's about a UFC fighter, which is nothing like the first Roadhouse.
It's got Conor McGregor on the cover. What is going on?
I mean, he's gonna be fighting Conor McGregor in the movie. He's gonna be fighting Conor McGregor. Yeah, Conor McGregor's in the movie. He's gonna end up fighting him. I think as like an opportunity for another great Jake Gyllenhaal performance, this is certainly there. I don't know if it's going to be a great Jake Gyllenhaal performance.
Gonna be at the bottom of my list for sure if I even see it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if we'll even end up talking about this movie on the podcast.
I'll be sick that day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I think
I am
I think I'm
not
interested.
as optimistic as you are about this,
Yeah.
but it
I'm
is
listen,
interesting.
I'm
You're
not
the only
optimistic.
guy on this hill.
I'm not optimistic.
Doug Lyman can
I'm interested
pick
to
it.
see if it turns out to be something good because I
Yeah.
think it's like I think
It
it's
won't.
important for this movie to be good. If
For Jake
you, like,
Gyllenhaal.
yeah, for Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be excited about Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor, which like
I
I would
don't
like
wanna
to
be.
be. I'd like
We
to
got a
be
lot of
back
new
in a
guys
world where
coming
Jake
up.
Gyllenhaal.
He can take a back
Sure,
seat.
but like
No,
I don't know.
listen, no, Jake Gyllenhaal's really good. He has
I got
an
so many dudes
energy
in the
that is
farm right
difficult
now that I
to
don't
communicate.
need him.
Yeah, like I'd like to be
Uh,
back in a world where Jake Gyllenhaal's making good movies. I don't
It's
know that
time to take
Roadhouse
him
is like
out
the
back.
path for that, but I don't know. Anyway, we can talk about a movie that we have hinted
Your
at.
time is over, old man.
Plenty of times or we've talked about plenty of times on the podcast already, but we will talk about it again. Trap, the M. Night Shyamalan
Oh,
movie.
hell yeah.
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 Potential movie of the year for Owen.
I really gotta figure out that guy's name because I mentioned him earlier, but there was like rumblings, who knows, that the guy who was shooting Challengers is also shooting Trap. But yeah, I'm just like one of my most anticipated movies of the year. Every time M. Night's gonna come out of the movie for the rest of his life, I'm gonna be, the first in line for that. What's his name? Josh Hartnett. Recently became a pretty big fan of his. Just I think he's really great in the stuff I've seen him in, and I think his opportunity for a kind of late career thing, similar to just any. I don't know. I was gonna say similar to, but just like a he's kind of had a patch in his career where he wasn't really working in big things. Then he was in Oppenheimer. Now he's going to be in Trap. Really seems to be a career resurgence for him. And M. Night's always able to get like really interesting performances out of actors. So I'm never really worried about who he has in his cast. It's always like I just would like some really interesting people in it. Like I'm always gonna expect good performances and just like a good movie. But it's always fun to kind of see who's ends up being in these movies. And Josh Hartnett is a really fun pick.
Yeah.
And the kind of premise is Josh Hartnett takes his daughter to see a concert, and the concert is a Lady Raven concert, which is like a fake pop artist, but is played by Salma Shyamalan, who is his daughter, which is really awesome. She is a musician in real life. So it's really great. We talked about that earlier, him being a really great dad and working with his daughters, working with one of his daughters who's going to be in acting. We don't know how big the actual acting is going to be, but she is like the pop star in the movie. And like, she's like really the only other actor really know that's going to be in it. So I'm assuming she's going to be a decent chunk of the movie. So that's really cool. Be interested, like if she's like a really good actor, that'd be awesome. See her just like kind of be one of the random kind of surprise.
Maybe she'll become a regular in his movie.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would be cool.
But yeah, just actually
little,
super excited for this. We
Sophia
know
Coppola
a good amount of information, but we just don't know like so much to like continue to really talk about.
But we're going to talk about this movie so much on the podcast moving forward up until its release. Like this is, we've talked about it before.
This
we'll
is
talk about it. This is obviously a major movie.
It's going to come out in
For
August.
us.
So
for
it's
us,
interesting. It's coming out in August, which is like later. We last
That's
year.
what I was gonna say.
M.
The
Night
worst part is
movie
we're gonna
came
have to
out in
wait a
February.
while for like a trailer and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
It's,
our next movie, another movie we hinted at previously when talking about Hunter Schafer, Cuckoo, which is it's like a.
I need to talk to the Neon executive. I need to talk to some executives at Neon, bro. What the fuck are they doing? This movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
This movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago. And here's the thing. I have a prediction. This movie might be bad. And that's why they keep pushing it back.
Maybe.
It's premiering at the German Film Festival this year. I got really annoyed yesterday because I don't know what Twitter account it was, but they tweeted out that Long Legs teaser, and they were like, no one knew what it was, right? Everyone was like confused at what the fuck it was, and there was the initial speculation was some people were saying that for some odd reason that it had to do with the Cuckoo movie, and then then right away they're like, oh no, it wasn't. So like for half a moment or whatever, I was like, we finally got like some breadcrumbs, because that teaser is like absolutely nothing. It's literally like a photo that they zoom into. But some people are like, it's a girl, it must be Hunter Schafer. So that was annoying. But yeah, I mean, like Doug said, it might be bad. I'm excited for it. We're finally getting it. So
I like
Yeah.
Hunter Schafer. That's
Yeah,
my
we all like
Yeah,
Hunter Schafer.
that's the thing. The director made a student film that did really well, and this is like his kind of like big directorial debut. Who knows? People apparently like that horror short. It totally still can be good. Like that, just because we literally talked about that earlier with the Nosferatu thing. Just because it was in production hell does not mean the movie's gonna be bad at all.
it's just like
we don't really know anything. Yeah,
why would Neon just because the movie's been shot for so long and they've just been holding on to it? Why are they not distributing it? That's
who
what
knows?
It's bizarre.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. It's a weird one, but we're finally getting it, which is exciting. Big year for Hunter Schafer. Might be the worst one of all of them, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
It's better than no Hunter Schafer.
Yeah. Next up, we have a movie that we talked about recently on the podcast in the news, which is Wolfman, the Leigh Whannell movie starring Christopher Abbott.
Leigh Whannell.
Is that how you say his name?
No, it almost certainly
I thought it was Leigh Whannell.
Yeah. Listen, I like this guy.
Yeah,
I am, but I'm very like I'm kind of a James Wan chill. So it's like you can't really trust me when it comes to people in his orbit.
You can't trust this guy. This movie's gonna hopefully be good. I'm excited.
Yeah, I like The Invisible Man and I like Upgrade.
The Invisible Man. I don't love The Invisible Man. I don't think Owen is gonna like The Invisible Man.
Probably not.
But it's like
Christopher Abbott though.
That's the thing. Christopher Abbott is so good. The fact that Gosling was attached to this for so long is interesting too. It's like I think that this is probably gonna be good.
One of the big things I think in terms of director, actor, I'm sold. With The Invisible Man, it's really like an aesthetical thing. But with that, it's like the guy's just invisible and it's like a horror movie. With a werewolf movie, it's easier to ease my likings. I just think if the werewolf looks good, I'm gonna like this movie. So
Christopher Abbott looks like a fucking werewolf, bro.
Yeah,
he looks like a wolfman already.
Can we give?
Well, he's on his
Abbott...
fours in Poor Things. He's gonna be on his fours in this movie too. He's just an animal.
Cinematic parallels.
Man.
We can say about Christopher Abbott though, right? He gets the Harris Dickinson Rising Star Award as well. Like he's in the same conversation. I feel like where he's kind of.
It's different from Harris Dickinson because he's been
Christopher
around
Abbott's
for a little bit.
He's older. But like
he's just he's gonna be a guy that's gonna be around for the next 10 years. I don't know. Who knows if he's gonna be as big as I'm projecting some of these other guys to be, but I do think he's just gonna be around and just be really great.
I just meant he's on a very nice run. It's different.
I don't know
over the past few years, and he's clearly like growing in popularity. Like he's going to.
Yeah,
Christopher Abbott is going to be I don't know. Here's the because in our Poor Things pod, I did say like, oh, Christopher Abbott's going to be a fucking movie star. But now I'm thinking about it, and it's like he has to be in some really conventional shit to be a movie star, Yeah. And I don't know if that's what he's going to do.
And he does a lot of weird stuff.
He might just be a weirdo, and that's cool.
Which is fine because he's great at it.
Yeah,
like he's really.
But it's like just like when we talk about Harris Dickinson and like Jacob Elordi and Paul Mescal, it's just like you're not. It's a different level, and it's just like they're in different things and they're kind of they're reaching different demographics and stuff like that. I think,
but
I do think like he's a phenomenal actor, and I think he's really great. I think he's a great pick for this movie. So I'm interested to see. I'm hoping we get some new kind of first looks and stuff for this movie. Because it was like a really bait and switch where like the Gosling thing was in production hell for a while, and like will this movie ever happen? And then like one day they were like, boom, it's new director, new actor, and it's coming out in October. Like it's happening. Like so really like fast, quick. Really
it seemed like something that might have just been shelved. It
seems like the Abbott thing was like they shot that shit and didn't tell anybody, and then they're like, all right, here we go. So exciting, very exciting.
Yeah. I know we have not been following our 2-minute rule very well, but I would like to ask that we don't talk about the next movie for half an hour, like I know you guys want to, which is Megalopolis, the big movie that this podcast is centered around.
I have so much to say.
What do you want to say? What do we want to say in 2 minutes? What is the most important stuff?
2 minutes?
You can go over 2 minutes. I'm just saying, like obviously this is the movie that the podcast has been we have
Yeah,
been anticipating this movie on the
Yeah,
podcast more than any other movie, so it's
Yeah,
you know we could talk about this for
What
forever.
are the
and
most
ever.
important
Well,
nuggets that
okay, so
people need
what
to
I want
know?
to say first is like me and Owen talk a lot off the podcast about this movie.
Yeah.
But I want to say like Kevin, are you as excited about Megalopolis as we are, you think?
I do not want to spoil what my top 5 most anticipated movies of the year
Okay.
are for after this section,
Okay,
but
okay.
let's just say that it is certainly in the conversation.
Okay.
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 I think it's
I'm
hard
excited.
to be like
I don't think I'm as excited as you
as like because
guys.
we're just like this is gonna be the best movie of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And
I don't
it's
think
hard
I'm
to
on
ask
that
anyone if
level.
they're that excited about any movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, that's
think
how I
Kevin
feel
is.
about like Mickey 17, you know, where it's like
Sure.
I'm super excited for that. Obviously, this is like a different thing entirely, but yeah, you know, I can't compare myself to your level of excitement, but it's you know, like I think this movie is going to be great. I think it's very clearly going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. Like I have no like doubt.
We talked last night, Doug, about the use of the volume on this movie,
Yes.
and that wasn't something that I was originally aware of. I know Francis Ford Coppola in his late years is really interested in digital and really interested in these kind of weird ways you can kind of use tone and like realism and like warping things. And like when Driver talks about this movie, it's really weird, really bold, and like kind of like shooting for the stars really in terms of like an aesthetical kind of thing. And you know, many people like kind of like, I think this is one really funny tweet that I like where it's like everyone's like, oh, the guy who made The Godfather is gonna be a really, let's see that new movie, and then it's like he's gonna do some like weird like Star Wars pretty cool shit where like it's crazy digital stuff. I really love his late career movies, like Twix. I think it's really cool. Twix is he's really interested in like digital skies and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm
just
really,
a movie that we've talked about on the podcast.
Twix really, that's an episode we did with Seth. Really fun, kind of messy episode, but really, if you want to listen to that episode, we did an episode on Twix. But Twix has these really great digital skies and really interesting use of digital, and that's on like a very low budget scale. So the biggest thing here is like it's the movie that he's always wanted to make. It's $120 million of his own money, but that's a huge budget for a guy who's been working with these $5 million thing. So he's able to experiment with his like digital fantasies that he's have in his brain with higher technology. So it's really like this is gonna. I think this movie has a chance of like really pushing forward like the ideas and the ways that we use like this digital tech, which is crazy because this man is ancient and this guy made The Godfather.
He's so old.
But he's one of those guys. What it seems like it is the older guys. The older guys are really interested in pushing the tech. You know, it seems like, you know, the guys that have been around forever and really understand the craft and really understand what it is to make a movie and what movies
they were making movies before there were rules. You know.
Yeah. So they are so like fascinated by this tech. Like, you know, you Lucas, Ang Lee, Cameron, you know, Coppola, these guys who are really interested in this tech. I think they're gonna surprise the people how weird this movie is and how like kind of adventurous and bold it gets with its digital technology.
Yeah. And similar to other movies we mentioned, this movie is going to come up on the podcast a lot for the remainder of the year until it comes out. You know, similar to what we said about Trap, like we will be talking about this movie when we get more news about it, like anything, you know,
any little crumb, man.
We're on full Megalopolis watch until this fucking shit comes out. Like anything that comes out, we're like, we're putting a spotlight
10 episodes on Megalopolis.
Well, we're going to do something big. We don't know enough about Megalopolis' release to really even like start talking about it, but we want to do something big for it.
We're definitely something to watch out for
something sure. I wanted to bring up. Obviously there's the cast, right? Like Adam Driver, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, what's his name?
Lawrence Fishburne,
Giancarlo Esposito, Natalie Emmanuel, John Voight, Forrest Whitaker, Jason Schwartzman, Dustin Hoffman.
Incredible.
Catherine Hunter's in it, who was just great, and Poor Things. Grace Vanderwall. Won America's Got Talent.
Won America's Got Talent. Do you know
we got award winners on our staff? Do
you know how Grace Vanderwall got attached to this project, Kevin?
No, you were saving this for the podcast. Right? You wanted to tell me this on the podcast.
I think it's such an interesting tidbit because what happened was that Francis Ford Coppola was learning about OLED technology, which is like the display tech in like really high end TVs, right? Um,
Mhm.
and he was just like learning about it, so we like flew to like Germany to talk to some uh it was like a Sony or LG or like one of like these TV productions that like make OLED panels. And apparently like Grace Vanderwall's dad was an executive at one of these companies that he was like getting a tour at.
Wow.
And like they like were just talking, and like he told them about his daughter was like, oh, like a singer
Well,
or
like
whatever.
they became
Like
like family friends. Like
yeah,
they
yeah,
just like
yeah.
they're now just like Grace Vanderwall's dad and Francis Ford Coppola are just like now family friends.
Yeah.
So Grace
So
Vanderwall is just like
fascinating.
now Grace Vanderwall, America's Got Talent winner, is just like a part of the kind of Coppola tree in a way in terms of
Yeah.
like as a family friend. So her being in this movie is kind of a fun little addition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
is
don't really know
fun.
her magnitude of other things. She's playing like a pop star, like in the kind of huge world. It makes sense that there's kind of like a musician that exists in this world. She's obviously probably gonna be playing music in the movie,
Mhm.
but we don't really know too much about the role.
And Adam
Yeah.
Driver said recently-ish in an interview during his Ferrari press run that that filming Megalopolis was maybe the best experience he's had making a movie. Which, listen, that's it.
That's exciting.
That's a
Yep.
sell, you know.
Yeah, that's definitely a sell. Are you guys comfortable moving on to another movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, we have plenty more to talk about another
Yeah,
day,
yeah,
but
yeah. Okay, our next movie is We Live in Time, directed by John Crowley and starring Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield. I am interested in this. John Crowley seems like I have not seen a John Crowley movie. He seems like he has made good movies. Though Brooklyn had Saoirse Ronan in it and was very critically successful.
The
I know a lot of people. I know a
Goldfinch.
lot of people like Boy A. Oh no, that's not true. I have seen a John Crowley movie. I've seen Intermission, which is a Cillian Murphy movie that I watched as part of my long running love for Cillian Murphy and my exploration of all of his movies. Intermission rocks, by the way. That movie is very fun. And I'm sure Brooklyn is good. I hear Boy
yeah,
A
I
is
think this is
great.
gonna
Like
be solid. I think
this guy
Garfield
can
and
make
Florence
movies.
Pugh are really great.
It's
Mhm.
a good duo. I think.
I think this is it might not be like one of the best things you see all year, but I think in terms of like if you want to see two great actors act, I think this is going to be a good
Yes.
showcase for them.
Interesting.
I made a video recently ranking Florence Pugh's movies, and one thing that I noticed that is very clear of all the 8 movies I've seen her in, I think 4 of them are good movies in which she gives good performances. I think 4 of them are bad movies in which she still gives good performances. She is consistently great in everything that she shows up in, whether the movie is good or not. It's obviously better if the movie is good. Like, hopefully this is a good movie where she gets to give a good performance, because the fact that even like, last year she was in A Good Person, which like, like I'm like, this movie's not very good, but she's giving like one of the great performances of the year, and people would talk about it if it was in even a decent movie, but the movie's just bad. Like, she can so clearly like elevate a project if it's just a good enough movie. And Andrew
Something
Garfield, I think, is also great.
something I want to throw out there just quickly is that Benedict Cumberbatch is an executive producer on this film, despite not being in it.
That's interesting.
What is
Does he have a history
Actors
of
do kind of
producing movies?
Yeah,
or-
like
No.
actors do kinda do
Uh,
that every once in a while.
yeah, every once in a while. Everything else
Um,
he's produced, he is also in.
maybe he was going to be in it and then dropped
Yeah.
out and then was like, I'm gonna still produce this and be like a nice.
Well, the
Oh,
age between
yeah,
him
that's
and
possible.
Garfield is like kind of a little. They're not that close in age, I don't think.
Well, no, Garfield
but
is like
they're
40 years
same-
old, and Benedict
They're
Cumberbatch is
kind of like
80.
they're
Like,
similar types of like
yeah,
Sure.
they could play similar.
Yeah, they
characters.
could play
Obviously he's a
similar
little
characters,
earlier.
sure.
Well, they
And
kind of have that like
he could have been attached before Florence Pugh was even attached though,
yeah,
too. You know,
yeah.
like yeah.
Who knows? I mean, we could probably figure that out.
Yeah, if we
Yeah,
did.
That's true.
But I think it's notable though that he's on as a producer and isn't in the movie though.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, like Owen said, I think this is more likely a movie that is going to have 2 great performances, and we'll have to see if the movie's actually good. But like, I'd be hopeful for this movie. I think it's like a seemingly good director. Next up, we have Love Lies Bleeding from Rose Glass, starring Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien.
Oh, of course.
I think this movie's gonna be fucking awesome. Like, I saw the trailer that they released. I was like, yeah, sign me like day one. I'm there.
Did you see Saint Maud?
I did see Saint Maud, which I actually want to rewatch before this movie comes out. I don't love it as much as some of our friends who really like it, and some people I know who really like it. I did still enjoy it. I think maybe if I watched it now, I would enjoy it more. So I'd like to revisit it before this movie
Yeah.
comes out. I think Rose Glass.
Rose
is,
Glass,
like,
talk about a
real
sick name.
director. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
wonder if
think
that's
just-
she-
a fake name or not. But
even if it is,
it sounds like
that's
she's British, so that sounds kind of like a normal
Rose
British
Glass.
name. Like
Yeah.
that's like a
that
like,
rules. It rules. I like when it comes up in that like the text on the trailer. Just kind of like it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this earlier. Kristen Stewart, one of our like best working actresses today. What's the? I'm blanking on the older gentleman who's in this movie.
Ed Harris.
Ed
Ed Harris looks insane.
He's fucking awesome.
He's awesome. I really like Ed Harris as an actor.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not some guy that I would want to lead my movie, but in terms of like, let's have him do this really weird, freaky thing. That sounds awesome. So,
well, let's not forget that The Abyss was just released in theaters recently, in which he is the lead, and
that came out 40 years
and-
ago.
No, sure, but like, no shit. But
Okay,
I'm just
maybe
saying, like, he's an old ass
4 years
man
ago,
now.
but
Like he's
jeez,
still.
dude.
It's not like he forgot how to be a good actor.
No,
Like,
I don't think he's a good actor. I'm just
you
in
know.
terms of like, who do I want to lead my movie? It's like Ed Harris
Right,
isn't
sure.
like the guy, but like I think in terms of like, hey, who do I want to be like this supporting role in terms of like weird ass old man? I think Ed Harris is perfect for that.
Yeah,
you like
so,
you
there's
think you like Ed Harris more than Mark Rylance?
Yeah, well, it seems
Oh,
like a similar thing. Well, I don't know. This Mark Rylance gives me the creeps, dude. That
The
I think he's
heebie-jeebies?
great. I think he's great. I don't want to
No,
see
same.
him. I don't want to see him, dude. And don't look up. I think he's actually disturbing. I think he's disturbing in that movie. I don't like like.
What about Bones and All, dude? He's so.
Oh,
fucking-
like
he's so
obviously, but
creepy
I
in
think
that
like it's like you're tempted to like skip over those scenes like it's a sex scene and you're 10. You know, like it's like you're 10.
You got to turn the
literally-
volume down.
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
want
Like
your
I don't
parents
want
know
to
what you're
see
watching.
him, dude. I don't want to see Mark Rylance, dude. Who knows? Which is the thing that's like I think in terms of Satan in that Terrence Malick movie, he's gonna be perfect because he's like the embodiment of Satan. I think Mark Rylance is very creepy, weird guy. But yeah, Ed Harris, I think
The
back to
embodiment of Satan is crazy.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Back
for
to the-
seemingly like
back
nice
to
dude.
the-
Yeah, Love
back
Lies
to the
Bleeding.
other back to that movie. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be so cool. I'm really. I'm very excited. That trailer got me so excited. Speaking of trailers that got us very excited,
Let's go, buddy.
It is.
Let's
It
go,
is.
buddy.
It is the movie that Doug has been waiting for, and in many ways, me and Owen also.
We've
have
all been waiting
for.
for.
Yes, Furiosa, Mad Max saga. One of the great trailer that has been released for any movie this year, coming out this year so far.
Yeah, one
Looks
of
amazing.
it looks so cool. I don't know. Listen, I love George Miller. Everybody should love George Miller. They don't, but I love George Miller.
We should, yeah.
I love 3000 Years of Longing. I love Fury Road.
Have you seen the older Mad Max movies?
No.
Okay.
I will.
I have seen the second one only from the older ones, which because like for a film class we had to watch the second one, which is interesting, like showing a class the second, but I guess that doesn't matter for a film class. So I've seen the second one, which I think is really good. Obviously I love Fury Road.
I will watch all of them before Furiosa comes out. I think that Taylor Joy, one of my favorite human beings to ever be born on this planet. Chris Hemsworth, I think is
that's a crazy thing to say about somebody you've never met.
Listen, I don't know.
Out of all the human beings that have been born, one of your favorites is a celebrity that you don't know.
Okay, you don't need to read too much into my stuff going on. Chris Hemsworth is tapping into something crazy in this movie. I think this movie is gonna be fucking incredible, dude. I don't even know. Like,
no, I think Furiosa is going to be so cool. I think anybody who's skeptical about the trailer is dumb. Not to like be mean, like the movie's going to be good. Like
people are talking about how like the CGI looks fake, and it's like, bro, it looks saucy. It doesn't look fake. It looks fucking
have faith. Like just for a second. If you're doubting this movie, just like stop doing that. Wait until it comes out. Go to the theaters and be amazed that you were wrong. Like it's gonna be great. This movie. Are you excited for this movie, Owen?
Yeah, sure. I'm not
Okay.
crazy about it.
Well, Owen doesn't like Fury Road, so it's like
Yeah,
thought Owen liked
I
Fury
think Fury
Road.
Road's fine. I'm just like, so it's like I'm like, oh, I'm expecting like something similar, so I'm like, I'm gonna probably like it to an extent. I like
Mhm.
Anya Taylor
Big
Joy
cap somewhere.
more than anybody in Fury Road. So
Right.
that's something. So yeah, who knows?
Interesting.
Also,
Surprise me, George Miller.
I'm looking at our list, and did you really save this fucking movie for the last movie we talk about?
I did, in fact. I was going to mention it because I think it's funny that we could have made Furiosa the last movie. However, in natural like our podcast fashion, we're gonna end by hating on a movie rather than talking about one
Jesus Christ.
that we like. And also, I shuffled the list, so I did not pick the order of the way we were going to be talking about these movies, but the shuffle has landed on our final movie, which is David Leitch's The Fall Guy.
All right, Owen, cook.
David Leitch is the worst working director in the modern Hollywood system. And Ryan Gosling doesn't give a shit about whether the movie's good or not because he can't tell. He just wants a bag. This movie's gonna be horrible.
I love Ryan Gosling so much. Like you have to like, he's like maybe the only person who I can just admire whether he's picking good movies or not. Like I'm just like,
I don't
at least in
hate
my opinion,
David
like,
Leitch as much as Owen.
Sure,
but-
neither do I.
But my thing is like I
It's
don't
hard
like
to hate
Bullet
him
Train
as
though. But here's the thing: I'm on the same side of the
this
war
is
as
just Bullet
Owen.
Train
Like,
too.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't like Bullet Train. This is Bullet Train
Yeah.
too.
It
Like,
doesn't.
you know,
It doesn't look like all that interesting. I mean, the trailer looks bad.
I will say the first 15 seconds, the first 15 seconds of the trailer looked like a good movie, and then it
looks like
became
a much
Bullet
more
Train
interesting
2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like it looks like it could be. It looks like it's the setup for what could be an interesting movie. And even like in the trailer, I feel like Ryan got like when it's just like kind of pitched as like a romantic thing, I feel like Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt have like a nice chemistry in the trailer up until like everything else happens in the trailer. Like I'm like, I could buy a love story between these two people until it becomes a love story that is, you know, that has like this movie as the background of it. It's not going to be good, but I think if they give Ryan Gosling enough funny lines, I'll be able to watch it in a theater and enjoy myself enough. Like I could just watch Ryan Gosling be funny. I mean, that's just like a thing that I can do. I really like him. That's the last movie that we end on for our most anticipated. Before we move on to news, though, we are going to first go around and do a bit of a sleeper pick for which, you know, for my pick, I don't know about you guys. My pick is on the list that we just went over, but our sleeper pick is very loose rules. We're just a movie that is going to be a sleeper this year for the people listening to watch out for. Not so much for us because we're probably excited for the picks that we're picking, but for the people listening. I kind of cheated and picked two movies because they're sleepers for different reasons. So my like sleeper that I think has potential to be one of the best movies of the year is Blitz, the Steve McQueen movie.
Oh,
which I think like that's like a movie I'm confident will be good, could be one of the best movies of the year. Like that's how I'm viewing it as a sleeper, where I'm like, I know I'll like this movie. How much am I gonna like it? And I am of the opinion that I could like it a lot because it has two of my favorite actors and it has a capable director and the story is seemingly very interesting, even though I don't know that much about it.
it's not how I approach that at all. This question at all.
Well, this is my that's why I'm saying I have two different kind of picks here. My other pick is a movie that I'm not confident will be good because I think it could end up being very bad, but sneakily could end up being one of my favorites if it ends up not being bad. That's how I'm viewing this other pick, which is Project Artemis, which the title will be changed. But you know, Greg Berlanti, who directed Love, Simon, a movie that I absolutely adore, that is like one of my favorite rom-coms I've ever seen. This is another rom-com, so it's like in his ballpark. He can do it. He has two actors who I really like, and one of them is Channing Tatum, who I think is just like the best person that you could possibly put in any movie, and especially a rom-com. There's a world in which this is just Channing Tatum doing the same movie he made 2 years ago, whose name I forgot. Like it
Dog.
could just be no, not Dog. The rom-com I was talking about with Sandra Bullock.
Oh yeah. Oh, I saw that movie.
The Lost City.
The
Yeah,
Lost
like,
City. Yeah.
it could just be The Lost City. It could just be another bad rom-com, which is why I'm taking a risk on it as like a sleeper pick, because like it's very possible this movie sucks, but it's very possible that this is my favorite rom-com that comes out this year and ends up just being awesome. So those are my 2 sleeper picks. Owen, would you like to present your sleeper?
Yeah, I'm gonna do 2 as well, because I'm gonna do one we talked about, one we didn't even mention all day.
Okay.
Let's talk about In the Lost Lands. Is just in terms of like what people are gonna talk about at all right now, and what's gonna be at the end of the year. That's gonna be something that just I'm gonna be talking about all year. And then Hellboy: The Crooked Man is something we didn't talk about all day. And this is like, talk about sleeper. Brian Taylor, one of the duos, or one of the half of the duos that did the Crank movie. It's relatively lower in terms of scale of the last 2 Hellboys, it feels like. In terms of like all the actors are pretty unknown. So that's kind of interesting. I just think that this is going to be a movie with some sauce, and it's going to be really fun in the terms of just Hellboy is a really cool character, and I'm really excited for what this has to bring. We really don't know too much about it. It's already finished shooting. It looks to be released sometime in the later half of this year. And yeah, Hellboy movie from Brian Taylor. It's a little surprise, little underrated flick there for the 2020 releases.
All right. Doug, do you have your sleeper pick?
I'll do 2 as well, since you guys both did.
You don't have to, but
no, I will. Because I like what you did, Kevin, where you're like, oh, this is one movie that like I think might be the best movie of the year that that's on nobody's radar, and I'm gonna do one that I think could be bad, but I think it's gonna come out of nowhere and be good. So my one, and I'll do one on our list and one off our list, but the one that's on our list that we did talk about today that I think might be the best movie of the year, that nobody's talking about and is like not on anyone's radar, is Memoir of a Snail.
Right.
I think that might come out of nowhere and just be the best movie that comes out this year. I think that is possible.
Right.
For sure. And Eric Bana's in this movie too. Shout out Eric Bana.
Shout out Eric Bana. Shout out Eric Bana.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna pick a movie that is so off the radar that I don't think it's only me that's even heard of this movie. I'm gonna do Sleeping Dogs, directed by Adam Cooper, starring Russell Crowe and Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan.
Yeah.
It's about Russell Crowe plays a guy who is undergoing Alzheimer's treatment and is forced to grapple the impact of an investigation from his former life after a death row inmate that Russell Crowe arrested 10 years prior starts to proclaim his innocence.
It sounds like a fun Russell Crowe movie.
Yeah, it sounds like crazy. It sounds like this might
come out
and be a fucking
movie.
banger. Yeah, it sounds it sounds really cool. Yeah, so those are my 2 picks, sleeper picks.
All right. We can quickly, we're not going to do like a back and forth for this. We'll just quickly list our, I guess, top 5 for ourselves personally, most anticipated movies of the year. I will go first. I have like a bit of a tie at my number 5 spot, which is between I really should say I should say I have a clear top 2 and then 4 movies competing for the other spots. So the 4 movies competing for my other spots are
top 6.
I Saw the TV Glow, which, like I said, I Saw the TV Glow, gonna be awesome. Megalopolis, Gladiator 2, and Furiosa. Those 4 movies competing for the range of 3 to 6. I'm probably equally excited for all of them. And then my 2 most anticipated, of course, like I said, Dune 2 was my most anticipated movie of last year. It is my second most anticipated movie of this year. And like I have hinted at previously, Mickey 17 is my most anticipated movie of the year. My favorite director working with Robert Pattinson. Owen, your 5 or 6, whatever.
Right. At 5 is one of my surprises is In the Lost Lands. I still think that's going to be really great. Then I have O Canada, the Paul Schrader film with Jacob Elordi and Richard Gere. And then I have Hitman, the Glenn Powell, Richard Linklater movie. Then I have Trap, the M. Night Shyamalan movie with Josh Hartnett. and then I have Megalopolis, the Francis Ford Coppola
Real.
movie.
And Doug, your top 5 most anticipated?
There's like 3 movies that are not on this list that I feel fucking weird that aren't on this list.
We could rattle off a couple after if you guys want, just like other stuff that we want to stress we're very excited for.
Yeah, because I am very excited for movies that I'm not about to mention. That both of you both mentioned. But Mickey 17. Let me. Oh, my green screen's fucking it up.
For the audio listener, Doug is holding his hand up and counting down right now.
But Mickey 17, then Memoir of a Snail, then Nosferatu, then Furiosa, then Megalopolis at number 1. I didn't mention Dune 2 or Trap, which feels fucking weird and fucked up, but I don't know.
But like you're very excited for those.
Yeah. And also In the Lost Lands, I'm really interested in too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I would say if I was going to do like
a lot of good movies coming out this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge year for cinema for sure.
It's interesting because there's currently like, I think in terms of like wide theatrical releases, I think there's like 30 less movies than the previous year because of the strikes like affecting some of the schedules. So it's going to be, there's probably going to be less movies for us to talk about, but that's not, obviously it doesn't determine quality. It's just, I'm curious how this year will stack up when we get to the end of it because of how many, like last year, I think you guys can agree they're at the top of my list for last year, just like a lot of movies I really liked. Like they're like a lengthy, like I would say even like top 20, 30 movies that I will be revisiting in the future, like that I really enjoy. So that's something to be curious about, I guess. If I was going to like rattle off, like Doug said, like honorable mentions, I mean, Love Lies Bleeding was very close to making my list. I'm very excited for that one. I think I'm also very excited for Twisters. I don't know. Like I just have like a weird like feeling that I'm going to really enjoy that. And Hitman probably because like
Hitman
rocks and
also like we have friends that have seen Hitman that say it as the juice.
That's what I'm saying. There's a few other movies that were really close to like right now I'm on the fence about, but they're
and maybe Aggro Drift comes out this year.
Yeah, maybe Aggro Drift comes out.
Who knows if that ever
one can only hope. Yeah, we would have talked about it if we had any confidence it might come out this year.
There's a few movies like that I left off the list because we just aren't really sure. If you want, we can move on to the news. Before we do that, of course, I'd like to remind everybody to like the episode, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter, join our Discord, rate the episode on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram.
All of the links are
we have an Instagram now, so that will be a new link.
That's true. Yeah.
New link.
We don't have a whole lot of news today because some of the news we actually kind of glossed over already this episode. I guess we'll start with the piece of news that has divided the Looks Like a Movie podcast and might potentially ruin it, which is Letterboxd is adding TV shows at some point later this year. My two co-hosts are not very excited about this edition. Let me defend myself for a second, right? I think I understand why people don't like this because they're worried about the users that like will be pulled on to Letterboxd as a result of TV shows being added. You guys already don't like most of the people that use Letterboxd.
I don't want to open up Letterboxd and see fucking Breaking Bad.
But Owen quoted my tweet in which I said I like this feature if you can use it, but you don't have to. If Owen can use Letterboxd without seeing TV stuff, I don't see how this could be a bad feature. Like you already don't there's already enough annoying people on Letterboxd. It doesn't make a difference. Like I just don't see how this is like that bad of a thing.
We had a good thing.
We did, but it doesn't change.
You gotta go around and fuck shit up.
If you never have to see a TV show that I log on Letterboxd, how does this affect your experience at all?
This is a crazy debate.
I'm just saying, what is like. Because I have
to see it.
I'm just saying, but can you not agree that if it's in an entirely different section that you don't even have to touch, like what does that matter to you?
Yeah, I mean, make it. Yeah, if I don't have to see it, I don't have to see it. But it's like it's conceptually, I don't really know how it's gonna work. I'd have to see I have to see it. I have to live it. I have to use it.
Here's my thing.
But
I don't watch a
By
whole lot of
by
TV
totally
right now.
separate too. I mean when I click on somebody's when I click on Quentin Tarantino's director page, right? I don't want to see that
that's
the
definitely is that
TV
gonna
episode
happen?
he directed and shit too.
Am I gonna see like the one episode?
Yeah,
of
Oh,
swapping them?
sure, but
Like I'm just interested. Like when it's not even like a feed standpoint. Like if I click on your account, am I gonna see if I go to if I just close
right, like what somebody's watching, is their recent activity also
is it gonna
gonna
say
include the
media,
shows and
all-time media that
yeah.
they've watched? It's gonna say what is it gonna say on their
Right.
films?
Are
I
people gonna have
understand
like TV
that
shows and their
there's
favorites now? Like I don't know.
what's people's
Yeah.
accounts gonna look like? What are people directors' pages gonna look like? What are actors' pages gonna look like? It's hard for me to see how completely separate it can be, and unless it's like a
Sure.
completely different app. I don't know. It's really just they have to show me how they're gonna do it, and then I'll be
Sure.
fine with it.
I do think there's some complications there.
it's
I do think
yeah.
it's like a hard thing to set up. I also think, on the other hand, like you guys specifically really only follow people whose opinions you care about, and a lot of those people
Yeah.
are not going to be logging TV. So like, I don't really think it's going to
Yeah.
affect your experience that much.
The way that the letterbox
We have a couple
feed works-
courtesy mutuals. We have a couple people that we just mutual because we have to. And if you're listening to this and you're wondering, is that me? I'm here to tell you, it's you.
probably
It's,
you.
yeah, it's you.
So
Okay.
I'm not really worried about the feed
That's a
thing
crazy
because
thing to
the way that the feed works is you only see the last thing they logged. So for me, I'm not really worried about that. Like if some idiot keeps logging Breaking Bad, I'm only gonna see it once. I'm more worried
Yeah.
about the way that the pages are gonna look and the way that it's gonna just change the way the app is. But I don't know how they're gonna do it. I really don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm like I said, and this is what I meant when I said it. I think I only like this feature if it's like integrated properly, like if it works in a way that like like there's a turnout where this is bad.
They would have to do it where like literally it's like there's a button you click and it's like TV and you click it
Right.
and like it brings you to like you have like
The
a
TV
different
section,
profile.
like a TV.
You have like a different profile and you still
That was something that I was curious about.
You still follow the same people.
Okay,
But you're like your top 4 is different. You have like a TV top 4 and you have a TV like thing, and the
Yes.
directors and the actors have different TV pages that you go into. That's fine. I just don't want it to like be like a thing where like my top 4 has like movies and TV, like it's like a Seinfeld wavelength next to each other or some bullshit. Like
here's my thing. As somebody who doesn't watch as much TV as I used to, but I still dip my toes in TV. Like I still want to watch like the big new shows if I'm interested in them. Sure. I cannot use Serialized. I've tried. The app sucks. Like it's just a bad app. I can use Letterboxd. I like the idea of if it's in a separate section, I can at least be motivated to like keep up with the shows I like watching, like have some, like I like that possibility. Like I like that.
Went into the jungle.
Doug disappeared, but we're gonna keep rolling. I like the potential of that where it's like I can keep up with the TV stuff I'm watching.
Yeah.
I like if it's just beneficial to me, it will get me to continue to be invested in TV stuff, which Serialized can't do for me.
I'm not like 1,000% against it. I joke online and I get a little like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, see people in your replies were really upset.
No. I get a little silly online. I do a lot of joking on Twitter. I don't think it's like gonna like ruin everything. It's really how they integrate it because they can. It's like it's just such a big feature that it can just ruin everything.
Sure.
But
I have faith
it can be integrated.
It can
be integrated well where it won't ruin things. I just do think it is like such a big change that it will possibly mess things up. And I do think the app.
I agree. I think we have to look out for it
right now. But I also think there are like minor tweaks that can make the app way better, and that they just aren't doing, and they haven't.
They are never going to let people reply to comments.
Like, what are we like? How is it not like that? Should be something that you figured out like the day one of the app. Like you should be like able to reply to comments.
The first time they ever see somebody go at username dash to reply to somebody's comment, they should have been like, "Oh, we need to fix this."
Yeah,
it's like people have been doing that for 5 years now.
We're adding where we can change the like the picture of the actor. Like, who asked for that? It's a fine feature, but we have to like fix the groundworks first. So like, I just think the app has potential to be better, and I'm not sure if TV is like the best way to do it. I think it can be, and again, it can be integrated in a way that is fine. I just worry that it's going to make the app worse. But
Yeah,
it's
I
all like a
understand.
wait and see thing. It's all a wait and see
Yeah,
thing.
I agree.
We have to see how they're gonna do it for sure.
Another big piece of news that we don't have to spend a lot of time on because we have already touched on it earlier this episode, which is that Michael Mann confirms that Heat 2 will begin filming this year.
I have
Which
another
we're
piece of
all
news attached to this as well,
okay.
which
Okay.
is that
Go ahead.
in the Q&A last night that Michael Mann did in Los Angeles, that one of somebody we know went to, Michael Mann did say at the Q&A after the screening that he's considering shooting on film.
That was a big
Okay.
thing that was wrapping around Twitter. People were
Yeah.
So it's interesting whether it's like going to be entirely in film. Some people there was an interesting concept where, because I know like Collateral has like film and digital, and this is going to be a movie that has a prequel and a sequel aspect. So it could be interesting for him to use film and digital to kind of differentiate the two timelines in terms of like
Be
the
interesting.
past is in film and then now it's in digital. Who knows? I think Michael Mann's images are so strong that even though his digital photography is so fascinating, I don't really have a preference necessarily. Like whatever he thinks is the best way to shoot Heat 2, I'm for it. But I'm interested to see if it will be just like a mix of the both. It's only film, but I think it's an interesting like that he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because I mean we talked about that just offline about the difference between film and digital, and I think if he wants to do it on film, that's cool with me.
Yeah.
I agree.
Our next piece of news is what I was hinting at before when I mentioned Tom Hardy, which is a piece of news that I'm very skeptical about and a piece of news that you guys don't care about. So I will just ramble a little bit. But the Peaky Blinders movie will reportedly begin filming in the middle of this year. I am really skeptical because I don't think that Cillian Murphy is like there's a possibility that Cillian Murphy's not in the Peaky Blinders movie. Like, I don't think he has agreed to be in the movie yet, which like that's a movie I don't want to watch. I also have not looked into the details of like where in the timeline this takes place, like how it relates to the show. Tom Hardy's character in the show, which is like I mentioned, like he's one of the
Tom
best
Hardy's
characters in the show.
confirmed in the movie.
No, he's not confirmed in the movie. I'm saying he's one of the best characters in the show. So like I wonder if maybe he shows up because like
Sure.
people love him in that show. I don't know. I have always been open to the idea of the Peaky Blinders movie since they announced it like a few years back when the final seasons were coming out. I think it could be really cool. I think it could be a disappointment if they try to make like a spin-off movie that's not focused on Cillian Murphy's character, like, and it's just like the Peaky Blinders universe. If that's the case, I have very little interest in the movie. Like
What's the
only
possibility
excited.
of Anya Taylor-Joy being in this movie?
Probably pretty low.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, like, she's in the final season.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fine. Her character doesn't really like. I mean, she's an important character in the final season, but she's kind of. I don't know that she would have. I guess in terms of where the story goes, she might be involved, but I struggle to think about if they could bring in the whole TV cast to a movie. Like I struggle to think about them getting Cillian Murphy and Anya Taylor-Joy and like a
They're
Tom
all
Hardy or
movie stars
whoever
now.
to
They're
get,
all way more
like,
famous than Peaky
get
Blinders now.
whoever involved in it, which is why I'm a little bit skeptical. If we get a full Peaky Blinders cast, same people involved with the show, sign me up. Like I'm cool with the Peaky Blinders movie. Next up, I know Owen's upset. Jenna Ortega is in talks to star in Taika Waititi's Clara and the Sun. What's going on with Jenna Ortega, Owen? I know you mentioned it earlier.
Owen, what are you doing,
Bad
brother?
agent. I mean,
Call Twin up. Call Twin up.
Yeah, I was like, fire your agent on Twitter. I was like, I don't know. It's get your bag. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I thought the Wednesday bag was pretty big.
Yeah,
I guess we're still going.
Yeah, she's like a producer on Wednesday now.
Hey,
too.
man, hey, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting because what I know from Wednesday, she was pretty adamant on like, I want to take this serious, and she was like telling like the people, I'm not saying this like bad, like these bad lines. So there's clearly something there where she's like, I want to be in like something halfway decent. She's also extremely young, so like her career again, plenty ahead of her. Um, some people still like Taika Waititi, so maybe she does like him and his work. So it's like it's not like in
actors
terms
still
of
want
like
to work with him.
yeah, in terms of like I know he's not good, but it's not something that everyone knows.
Yeah.
So I'm not like it's like okay, another bad movie. She's in a lot of bad movies, so like
Right.
it's not like
And she's
Also,
so young. I mean, she's
all
like
actors are in bad movies.
no, I know, but it's like
Sure.
it's not like someone who is just in a bunch of. It's not like Timothy Chalamet, who is like he's consistently in like really great movies, and now he's like in a Taika Waititi movie. She's just consistently not in great stuff. So it's really annoying that she's consistently not in great stuff. But I kind of expect that from her right now.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
mean,
you know
but
it
like
sucks,
that's what I'm saying. Like
but she's also again
21 years
very
old. Like it's like
very
not the end
very
of the
young.
world. Yeah. Like
Very very young. I'll maybe I'll see this movie just for her, but
Right.
again, Taika Waititi is not doing great right now.
Yeah. Small piece of news
Forever,
which
really.
relates to another movie we mentioned on this podcast. Julia Garner will star alongside Christopher Abbott in Wolfman, the movie that we mentioned before. I really
I'm not
like Julia
familiar with
Garner.
her.
I think she is fantastic. I would go
Is
as
she in a
far
lot
as
of
to
TV?
say yeah, so she plays Ruth in Ozark, which is one of my favorite shows and also by far my favorite character in that show.
Okay.
She's magnificent in that show. Like
Cool.
so good. She was in a movie earlier this year
We
that
only
nobody
know
really
those two,
watched.
right? We don't know any.
Yeah, we only know those two. She was in this
This has
movie.
been shot though, right? I mean, it's coming out in
yeah,
October.
I mean, it's coming out this
so, like,
year. Yeah. So
it's
probably.
shot. So, I mean, when are we gonna get the full cast list for this
Yeah,
movie?
I don't know. But the movie I was mentioning, The Royal Hotel, which I don't know if I mentioned it on our podcast episode that we were wrapping up last week. But The Royal Hotel was like kind of like a sneaky good movie this year that like nobody really saw, that she gives one of the great like leading performances of the year in. I think like Julia Garner's really fucking good. And I think if Wolfman is a big movie, if like Christopher Abbott is great in it, I think she will be great alongside him. Like I think she's really fucking talented. Our final piece of news is like this is just like a little quote, I guess, to end on, because it's not the biggest piece of news, but Jordan Peele teased his next project, which we know has like been pushed back from its Christmas release date. He said, "I do feel like my next project is clear to me, and I'm psyched that I have another film that could be my favorite movie if I make it right." I wish
That's
this was
what
still
that
coming out on
motherfucker
Christmas.
that wrote Bright said about Bright. That's like the exact.
We're talking about Jordan
Max
Peele,
Landis?
though.
Yeah,
We're
Max
talking about
Landis.
Jordan Peele, though.
We're talking about Max Landis, okay?
Okay, well,
Max Landis on the pod. All right, so
I think me and Owen were kind of in agreement that like Jordan Peele's trajectory, like Nope is his best movie in my opinion.
yeah,
like, I feel
so,
like he's only getting better.
I've kind of
and if
mentioned
that's
this
like
similarly to a lot of people, and that they're only going up. Jordan Peele,
Yeah.
it just seems like he's getting better with every movie.
Yeah.
So
and the fact that this is
I'm
his
super
outlook
excited for
is like
this.
what excites me. Like the fact that like
Yeah.
he sees that, like he has a
He
clear
sees it.
vision,
He
and
knows he's
like,
getting better. And
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like whatever this is seems like a passion project, because when you talk about this could be my best movie if I do it well, it seems like a movie that he probably has wanted to make for a while and is kind of anxious to get going, but knows he has to really, really step up his game to make it like amazing. And when we're talking about stepping up your game from Nope, that's going to be one of the best movies of the decade if that's stepping up from Nope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I mean,
really,
Nope. Listen,
really,
Nope
Nope
is one of the best movies.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Nope
Nope
is really great. Nope is one of like the top whatever movies of the decade.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I think
you're-
when the decade ends, Nope will still be one of the best
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
So Nope is definitely a note in this decade. So when you're stepping up from that, we're talking about something
Yeah.
major. So if he's able to, he's shown it that he's able to keep going, keep getting better. So if he's able to, take the next step from whatever Nope is, that's something really special. So I'm really excited to see what he has. And who knows? I mean, it's going to be most likely a horror film, but who knows what kind of horror film?
we don't know anything.
Who's in it?
Really.
We don't really know anything from this movie. So that's always some fun speculation, kind of exciting news.
Yeah, like final thing, I'd go as far as to say that if this movie still had its Christmas release date this year, like this is maybe the only thing that could have competed with Mickey 17 for my top spot. Like
Mhm.
that's how excited I would be.
Yeah, no, this would be one of the
Like,
most anticipated movies of the year for me.
like this would be
Yeah,
like my
obviously.
most
Yeah.
anticipated movie with Mickey 17. I just
for sure. Jordan Peele is incredible.
Yeah, agreed. So we're going to wrap up the episode there. You can join us next week for episode 49, where we're going to be talking about Society of the Snow, a potential Oscar contender, potentially another new release, maybe. We shall see. And of course, we're going to be covering the Golden Globes, which by the time you're listening to this episode will have aired already. But yeah, that's it for next week, and we'll see you later.